is one of the tougher or more subtle points that's in logic for this normal mode, and both runners are off. So we're going to have an early divergence unless SuperNinTaylor or Solski is playing on a different level, mindful of their opponent. Solski is going to go down and check Blue Brinstar, and SuperNinTaylor is going to go right to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The gambit on Solski's side is predicated on the idea that, and he's playing on a different level. He knows SNT's not going to do it, and he's going right to A Link to the Past. That's pretty cool.
I prefer to go to Link to the Past for speed booster on the floating or on the water island or whatever you want to call it. But I prefer to go to Link to the Past first, and because of the item density is such more dense. There we go.
Yeah, there's about 30 items available in A Link to the Past, whereas in Logic only 1, and technically only 2 if you do the ceiling deboost or ceiling knockback trick for Blue Brinstar. But on Solski's side, he generally will make that play predicated on the idea that everyone goes to A Link to the Past, and so if there is something there, he's seeing it like 30 minutes ahead of anybody else. Because it's really hard to find your way back over to Zebes from A Link to the Past until you find something like Morph Ball or some way to move about. And so that speed booster is one of those items that could be their progression deeper into the planet. So I would expect to see either Morph plus bombs or power bombs, or Screw Attack show up sometime fairly soon, because there's a lot of items you need to get to that speed booster.
And SuperNinTaylor checking Lumberjack. I prefer to check Lumberjack as early. Book on Lumberjack.
That is savage.
That could spell, like, if there's an item on those tablets, or even Pedestal, you can't even check Pedestal. Just one of those gambles.
Yeah, there's a lot that's hiding behind that book, and it could even potentially be the required desert access, although because Speed Booster is on Lake Hylia Island, it's less likely that our access is going to be via the Book of Medora for desert. So right now I'd be leaning toward that book probably not being essential, but that's one of those things that you do not want to see there. And let's see, Solski is going for the check of the race game rather than just going for it. And SuperNinTaylor getting bomb money in the Cackwell. I missed. Did you catch what Solski saw at that race game?
A piece of heart. Piece of heart.
Yeah, so he's not going to go get that. I personally like to blind check the race game, but I'm also usually coming from the top.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of items that you'll grab if you're there, but that you won't go through the race game for unless you absolutely have to. And so something like a full heart container or an E-tank can be really important early.
I think he went south because he has no money. Because, I mean, the bottle vendor is just right there, and you need money for it, but you also need bombs. So, but he has 3 bombs, and I forgot where he picked those up at.
He farmed the bushes by the dig spot. So there's 2 bushes there that have good odds of bombs. And yep, Ice Rod there.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I get excited when I see an item.
That is A-okay. Some items are more exciting than others. Ice Rod is one of those that you'll be happy to see early as a repeatable damage source in A Link to the Past.
Also, you can use it on Lane Moas too, instead of the Fire Rod. 2 shots of that does the same as a Fire Rod, but it's slower projectile. And bombs.
Okay, so those bombs plus Peebs that we've seen so far, Peebs in Link's house, by the way, power bombs, I'll call them Peebs a lot, suggest that we'll probably be looking at a fairly early Morph Ball, but the bow in Cackwell is a really nice find.
Well, SuperNinTaylor did do a map check, and there's Solski's. 5-6 crystal at desert, and crystal in eastern, and a pendant up north in Tower of Hera. And the bottle vendor doesn't have anything good.
Blue pendant, if I saw it correctly, so non-green pendant. So only 2 items in Hera. And with that Book of Medora, we aren't going to know if that extra third of an item from Pedestal is going to be relevant for quite a while.
Well, if Speed booster is required for a few things in Wreck Ship and throughout Super Metroid. If the mirror happens to be on pedestal and Swamp is not a pendant, that book, I mean, pedestal could be in logic. I mean, there's that. As much as I don't want to see a ped seed for these runner and like to see them make their personal bests, ped seed could be in logic with that mirror just hovering right there. If they needed the speed booster for something critical.
Yeah, Speed Booster, I believe, locks the 2 items at Aqueduct, the one at Waterway, the one in Main Street, and then I think there's one. Oh yeah, the Craterius Shaft Super Missile spot. So 5 items in Super Metroid are behind the Speed Booster, but most of them you can see or otherwise get to sequence break around it.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest one to do is the one at Waterway, but we did see Asder in one of his tournament races recently get his get his blue suit from Dragon and carry it all the way over to Waterway and use that blue suit to walk through those speed booster blocks and then carry it up to Criteria Shaft Supers. Didn't pay off, but the lengths some people will go to avoid going through Aghanim are pretty excellent.
Yes.
I mean, in my last race, I tried crystal flash clipping through Botwoon to get around Aghanim. It didn't work well, but the point is no one wants to do Aga.
I did Aga. That seed that I had to do the skipping stone, I had to do I did Aga because the seed was pointing towards it, and I realized the skipping stone early in that run, and I knew it, but I mean I knew I had to do it, but I chose Aga over that.
Yeah, so SuperNinTaylor headed for South Shore as Solski checks the Sahasrara closet. Nothing really there. And E-Tanks. So runners have quite a few E-Tanks, but E-Tanks don't really find their way into the logic in this mode, whereas they're very relevant to keep count of early for hard mode. But Solski is going to go use that bow as a repeatable damage source. Really nice weapon for Link to the Past to go into Eastern and get more arrows.
Morph Ball and damn.
So that's big. I imagine Solski won't be too long to get down to the dam in South Shore, but SuperNinTaylor is the first to that Morph Ball. So with those E-Tanks and decent ammo at this point, plus Morph Bombs, I think we might see the save and quit from Ice Rod Cave and a hard reset. So if Solski finds something in Eastern here, I think it might be a while before SuperNinTaylor gets there. Nice double hit on those Smoldorms, but that one on the right being a little dodgy. Mm-hmm. Oh man, what a jerk.
The thing about the Ice Rod, and it's hard to remember, is that the projectiles from it are slightly slower than the ones... Ooh, Charge Beam. Oh, High Jump. Oh man, Super Metroid.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice little Light World hype cave with High Jump Boots and Charge Beam. I'd be surprised if SuperNinTaylor finishes these Sphere 1 checks, but he may do it for completion, just because you never want to leave anything behind here that could be critical to routing, like, say, Various Suits here in Eastern somewhere. It would be such a big beating to leave that behind. And it's a rather modest cost to actually go and complete it, so I tend to find myself a little more completionist in these early Sphere checks. Nice Stalfos room there by Solski and Eastern, using the bow to snipe the last spawn spot, saving a few frames from walking.
That is true. I mean, me personally, I would, if it was me, I don't have the skill of Solski to do the dark room, because this what he's, to get where he is or about where he's about to go is that dark room, and I don't have the skill to do dark room, so I would wait personally for the lamp.
With 20 arrows and 5 hearts, it's out of logic, but it's not so bad. You'll see he walks to the right, fires downward, holds down right, and then holds upright to get into the room. He's going to fire, go over to the pot, get the key, calibrate where he's at, and walk right back to the door. Now he's going to hold down left until he runs right into that Popo, and he's going to get through the door. It's not so bad. The one in the back is a little tougher, but there are torches if you have Fire Rod.
Yeah. See, I would have gone like if I got what SuperNinTaylor got, I would immediately, instead of going towards Eastern, I would have gone straight into Super Metroid. But these runners are a lot better caliber than I will ever be at this point in time. You know, I enjoy seeing the skill levels of all these runners that have participated in the race. Even though I've lost every race that I was in, I've enjoyed this combo seed so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And that's a nice heads-up play by Solski, jumping in the well to get the fairy for a little extra health. He's going to use a bomb setup to try and kill these Popos. And then he'll be able to stick an arrow into the Igor here. And he found him. So now he just needs to get him moving, and perfect. Gets the small key. He's going to go up left, grab that small magic decanter, and go up the stairs. And really clean Eastern Darkroom, our second Eastern Darkroom by Solski. But I do like the idea he had there, grabbing the extra hearts for safety because he was down to 2 hearts.
Mm-hmm. You can never have too much health. And that's my personal experience. You can never have not enough. You cannot have not enough.
There are a lot of negatives in that statement, so I'm just gonna pretend. I think I know what you mean.
Me and the
I'm
English
not so good at following.
Me and the English language do not get along, and that's the truth.
Yeah, and Solski's going to be able to basically fill up on arrows here now. He's going to be a little low because he beefed the Igor shot, but did get a nice 10 drop there to fill him back up.
How many arrows does it take to kill
18
these?
Or 19. It's 18, 3 per. You're going to fire 5 to the right, walk up, and then fire 13 down, ideally. And nicely done. He's 1 for the wall. That's the 19th arrow. I fire that 19th arrow probably more than half the time. Yeah, and so knocking out the first crystal dungeon, always good to just get one banked. Sub 13 minutes first crystal or Super Metroid boss is actually fairly rare. Now, with the bow falling into their lap in this seed from Kakariko, both runners will have their first crystal fairly early, but now we're going to go back on the road trying to find things, and Solski is going to get his Morph Ball here very soon.
Oh yeah, he'll be excited to see that.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't lose time, really, because SuperNinTaylor hasn't leveraged that Morph Ball, and he was doing something productive, so it was good for him to be in Eastern Palace. But yeah, if we're trying to track who's in the lead, we'll have to see basically when Solski gets to Ice Rod Cave versus when SuperNinTaylor gets to Armos Knights.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, leads this early are largely just small execution based and aren't really all that meaningful. But I would say Solski's probably on the order of about 30 seconds ahead right now. But it's fairly close.
That is true.
And we'll see SuperNinTaylor's Darkroom here, see what strat he goes for. It looks like he's going for just arrows. And he found the Igor. He just needs to get him woken up.
And that was a nice mini Moldorm cave by Solski. He just blasted through it with the ice rod.
Yeah, that was one of the nice things. He knew that by going and doing Eastern, he was going to get that full magic refill. And so he would have the 8 ice rod shots to kill the Smoldorms.
Now, does he usually fake flipper to get items, or does he? I've watched tons of runs, and sometimes I see him do the fake flipper. But in this situation, do you think he'll do it?
I doubt it. Without Boots or Moon Pearl or something to check Waterfall Cave, it would be a bit of a gamble for the two locations. Plus, he doesn't yet have a Power Glove to farm rupees here, and so he does find himself about, well, 38 rupees short of the 500 he would want. So I don't expect to see that play.
That's true. I forgot what was in this chat. I think it was a reserve tank or some kind of help. Yeah, there it is.
Correct. And SuperNinTaylor is onto his Armos Knights. So yeah, we'll see what Solski does. Solski is staying in A Link to the Past for the moment. This might be the Agina play.
Where's it going? The back of Escape. Zelda's Escape. He hasn't done that yet. He'll probably head that way. That's where he looks like he's going.
Yep, Front of Escape is a good check at this point. Solski is really fond of stealing the key from this first guard. I like the play a lot. It's going to guarantee that he is able to go the whole way through the Dark Rooms to Dark Cross and then back do the back of Escape and get the key.
They got a key from the chest.
Oh, Sanctuary.
Yeah, they got a key, and SuperNinTaylor inside of Super Metroid.
Yeah, also doesn't surprise me at all. And he's going for some out-of-logic, fairly tight delayed wall jumps. This is a tight wall jump to do with high jump boots. A lot easier without high jump boots on, but we'll see how many tries it takes him to get this. He's got the right idea, and I think the high jump boots are coming off. But yeah, that's a really good point about getting that key from Sanctuary. And yes, SuperNinTaylor getting his wall jumps real quick, real easy without the high jump boots on. Out of logic still.
Why is this out of logic, sir? I'm just curious.
Because normal logic's really weird. Normal logic puts wall jumps in logic, but not all of them. And because these have a slight delay to them, I believe that, like, the designers of the logic have decided that they, for some reason or another, do not count as wall jumps for normal logic. Like, I think Alcatraz is in logic, but I'm actually not sure. But there's a bunch of really weird wall jump logic for normal mode. But they do have bombs, so they could IBJ, and that's a logical way up into here. And I see the chat has also mentioned the IBJ. So yeah, that is a way to put these in logic.
He does have bombs, so he can. My IBJ. Oh, or SuperNinTaylor getting grabbed, and Solski taking a death warp to get out of the front half of Escape. Ooh, Plasma Beam. That is a really nice find for SuperNinTaylor.
Yeah, that's a good find early on. And we'll see what's in the back of Escape now.
And since he was in Super Metroid when he collected it, it automatically is on.
Yes. Yeah, it saves him a menu. The only reason it wouldn't equip from the A Link to the Past side is if it did, if you found both it and Spazer. Ooh, SuperNinTaylor, you want to stay out of that acid. But yeah, if you found both, it would equip them both, and then you'd come back through the portal, fire a shot, and lock the game up, and that would be kind of crappy. So, Solski doing a great job finding that chest pretty quickly. And, oh, SuperNinTaylor.
Ooh, wah, wah, wah.
Now, I expect him to go back and get that Plasma Beam.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to go back and get it. He's probably going to refill that both of his reserve tanks. But I mean, I would personally fill the reserve tanks at the ship while I'm here. But that's just me, and I'm weird.
Yeah, I like this decision to go up here in IBJ to check the Crateria Power Bombs location. This is another check that's a little slow, but something you can get right here from landing site, and you might not be back at landing site too soon. And yeah, Solski not finding too much through the dark part of the Escape. No real indicator of where those gloves might show up or the lamp. So, no harm, no foul, really. And over into A Link to the Past, everyone is going to shun that Agina play for now. And Solski's going to go up and find his piece of heart. He might... Okay, now he's in a good spot. I was going to say, he might be a few pixels too far to the right there. He was going to bonk that IBJ. Setting up these infinite bomb jumps from high jump boots, or from no boots at all, from a mid-air jump, can be a little finicky. But most runners have a feel for it. SuperNinTaylor back to doing these high jump delayed wall jumps. They're really, really tight. I'm surprised we didn't see him IBJ up there. Another play I consider if I'm SuperNinTaylor is going and checking the back of Gauntlet items, and then just grabbing front of Gauntlet on my way up to do wrecked ship.
Mm-hmm.
But Plasma is a pretty good find, so I can see wanting to get back and get that sooner than later, even though you really aren't going to use it all that much.
And looks like Solski's planning on doing the same thing.
Yeah, Solski going right for turning those high jump boots off. I swear this jump with high jump boots is like just crap. It's absolutely awful.
I have never attempted it.
Have you ever done high jump Alcatraz? Because it's about the same, except it's tighter because the ledge, the overhang, is tighter. But if you've experienced the pain of high jump Alcatraz, that should be kind of. That's the Bomb Torizo exit. Oh.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't do Alcatraz escape like someone would. I usually wait until I have some kind of bombs or something to, I don't, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think English.
Yeah, it's all good. So Solski is going to be our first player to the back of Gauntlet. Lining himself up with the center of that block, so he'll be able to drop down cleanly here. And finding blue mail. Definitely going to take that. Probably going to pass on the heart container.
Yep. Check Terminator room.
Yeah, this is an easy one to miss. And he's glad he didn't, because that's a flute.
Yeah, that's a good find right there. I like the flute. Now with high jump... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
No, I was going to say SuperNinTaylor also grabbing his blue mail. We'll see him probably also remember to grab his flute here.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's a lot easier to check blue Brimstar from this end of the map than it is to go back and go around, because he can check all this green Brimstar, pink Brimstar, go up to blue Brimstar, get Billy May's room, and go check Old Mother Brain in a nice cohesive circle if he chose to, or just go to blue Brimstar. Ooh, there's a glove.
Yeah. Now that's nice. That glove is in logic. These other 4 items here are out of logic right now because they don't have speed booster. And because they know where speed booster is, this is actually a really nice series of checks. Could give them some information about where that mirror might be.
Apparently one of us made a pun.
I don't think it was me. But yeah, Solski is grabbing his power glove, was going for the quick exit, but with morph bombs, no risk of soft locking there. Or with morph bombs and morph.
Speed is on the island, Lake Hiley Island.
Nice moonfall here on his way down to Edikins. And SuperNinTaylor spending a little bit extra time grabbing some health here. Not a bad call. There's a lot of ways to kind of bleed out a little bit of health here over the next few rooms. And second reserve tank, or is that a third reserve tank, is not going to be all that exciting.
That's the third one, sir.
All right, so only one more reserve tank to find. Reasonable deboosts here from Solski. Just taking a lot of damage here, getting chewed on by this B-Tom. We'll see if SuperNinTaylor gets out with a little more health, and if that turns out to be relevant for how they route Pink Brinstar.
Mm-hmm. And Solski having some trouble with those wall jumps. And very astute.
Yeah, and nice mock escape there. Able to save going over the pit. So that's actually going to let Solski be a little bit more wild and free with his health here. So that's going to be good for him, because that reduces the amount of damage he takes from enemies.
Now, do you think he'll do the wave gate glitch?
If he doesn't, I'll be upset with him, because it's very free, especially with high jump boots. Like, either of these runners should be doing just about full checks of everything that they reasonably can be doing, even if it's in logic or not, because they're just going to keep track of what's in and what's out of logic.
Mm-hmm. Now, will he get the Indiana Jones escape? Nope.
Indiana Jones is down at Crocomire. That one's Mission Impossible.
Oh, sorry.
But, you know, various cinematic references here in Super Metroid. And nice reverse Spore Spawn entry, or Spore Spawn Super's entry here. See if it pays off.
You know, as a kid playing this, I always hated fighting Spore Spawn. I just don't like that fight at all for some odd reason.
I kind of dig Spore Spawn because he has a super cool song.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like a really basic, like, 3/4 riff, but it's kind of got this cool ambiance about it, and so I actually always really liked Spore Spawn. I'm sad we don't see him more often.
The race that I couldn't do ooh, nice skip. The race I couldn't do the skipping stone, I almost thought about just fighting Spore Spawn just for the chat.
I was gonna say, if Solski skips this E-Tank, I'm gonna have some words of consternation for him later, because, like, he blew so much health down there in Edicoons. Like, there's no way you don't want a little bit extra here, just in case you end up lava diving at the end of this route.
Ooh.
He might not go up Red Tower or up to Blue Bryn. He might do that later and just go down to Norfair and potentially get over to Death Mountain, although that doesn't leave you a whole heck of a lot right now.
That is true. Nope, he's not. He's opening the door though, just so he can have access to it later though. Ooh, our first sword.
Yeah. That's actually a really welcome find. That's going to make those dark rooms a lot easier.
Oh.
And so if we find Fire Rod, our runners are going to just completely stop caring about the lamp at that point. Nice job dodging these big side hoppers. Now, with Varia, they deal a lot less damage. With just Power Suit, they would have been 80 a pop, so they are a big health concern early in a lot of runs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and SuperNinTaylor, even with Varia Suit, now we know that he's about to get an E-Tank from Wavegate, and so he's going to be a little sad to have done this, but he's just being so conscious of keeping his health up. And I'll take a moment to shout out how good SuperNinTaylor has gotten just in this past year. So I think it was like over the winter holiday break last year that I watched SuperNinTaylor do his blind Super Metroid playthrough. So he has been playing Super Metroid for barely a year, if that, and only competitively picked up Super Metroid for the multi-category tournament last spring. And so even though he's doing this for the high jump list setup, even though he has high jump boots, I'm still super, super proud of the progress he's made in a year. He's been really good to watch.
Yes, that is true. I mean, commentating the weeklies, I mean, I've seen some great improvement from him over the time. Him and Kamidora both have improved quite a bit.
Yeah, and he's showing off the high jump list setup here for this Wavegate skip. And oh, there's the high jump method, so nicely done. Wasn't sure which one he was going to go for, but he was using the consistent high jump list setup for the first few tries. That one's just a little trickier because it does involve turning around and shooting a little bit tighter of a window.
And it looks like Solski's reading my mind because this is the route I was thinking about that I would do.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the default, like, completionist route, where if you just don't want to skip locations and want to do everything with a minimum path length, this is what you do. The downside to this route is that it puts a lot of extraneous checks in and doesn't get you to the bosses very quickly. So if he doesn't find anything here, he's going to feel real bad about it. But at least having the information of what's here and having it done and knowing that he's not missing anything can be really good.
That is true. He does have the gloves and he knows how to, get up Death Mountain, so lower Norfair. I seem like after he checks Bomb Chorizo and Alpha Omega missiles or whatever these are called, I see him going back into Link to the Past and going up Death Mountain the proper way without a lamp, though. But
Yeah, I'm not so sure about not using your last power bomb there. He might just be thinking that he doesn't want to necessarily do Alcatraz, although doing the Alcatraz room the intended way is honestly probably a little bit faster than doing that the intended way. So, I don't know. I don't like bombing there because you're coming up to the ship anyway, unless he's really committed to taking the portal to A Link to the Past. And hammer at Bomb Chorizo.
And he has to fight this boss, which is going to be a cakewalk with charge and plasma.
Yeah, so we are going to see 2 Bomb Chorizo fights today.
That is awesome.
They're both going to be short.
Really short.
And so you're asking what Alcatraz is. Alcatraz, we probably should just call it The Rock at this point with all the movie homages in the Super Metroid room names. But we're calling it Alcatraz. It's this escape set of jumps right here. And Solski beefed the last one just a little, but there he's just going to need to turn into a morph ball after this last jump. And as you can see, it can be a little tricky even for competent runners, especially if he has high jump boots on. And so he is going to use that power bomb to get out the intended way.
Now, wouldn't it be faster to go towards Wrecked Ship at this point and go down Red Tower that way? But it looks like he's heading towards Link to the Past and gonna go do some stuff there. He does have the flute. I forgot about that.
Flute and activate flute to Death Mountain to go rescue Old Man and go to Norfair that way. And leaving the option to go up Red Tower to Wrecked Ship after that is kind of a nice line of play here. I think that personally I would have headed down Red Tower and done Kraid in sequence, but that would have left me kind of stranded. I either would have had to do a very slow X-ray check or had to have stranded X-ray. And so I can see this being a very reasonable line. But yeah, if you like little ditties, now is the time to throw those salutes in.
Okay. I always like being quiet through that. I like that little jingle that it does.
Yeah, it's a nifty few tones there. I like it so... I didn't appreciate why it was a good thing for so long. And then I started running A Link to the Past at MG, and it's one of the few absolute input breaks you get in the early part of that game, where like all you're doing is like wall pumping and everything until you get boots, and it's a really input intensive game early. And the fact that you just get that input break right there and you get that nice little song, it's really pleasant. So I've come around to it.
And we get an Aegina's cave check.
And this is a quick check with that flute, so good time to do this. This is Solski just making sure he didn't miss anything. And he did. He missed 5 rupees. So he's going to be really happy to have those.
And now we are
mostly really happy to never have to go back to Aegina.
And we're also have access 2/3 of Dark World. We just missing that Moon Pearl.
Yeah, so the absolute worst thing that can happen to runners now, if you're a bit of a sadist, is Moon Pearl and Pyramid Ledge in true Link to the Past randomizer troll fashion. But I really doubt that we're going to have to see that play made, which probably means that we're going to be, if something's behind the book, this is going to come down to an execution race.
Mm-hmm. Or the book or the Moon Pearl is on one of the tablets. The Moon Pearl could be on a tablet, technically.
I don't believe that's possible. Is it?
Really? Well, I mean,
Yeah,
the
the ledge is the book, and so you need the book to check the tablets, and their pendants are in the Dark World. So,
I mean,
you aren't going to be able to go into Dark World dungeons logically without the Moon Pearl.
Yeah, I mean, you can technically get to the one in Hera, like, because the vanilla game, the Moon Pearl is in the Tower of Hera, so you still have access to the mirror, so you can check. You know, the mirror is one of those items that it's the logic behind it. Ooh, mushroom. You like a fetch quest, Maniacal?
I like Kana Samaria more, so I'm more a fan of what SuperNinTaylor's doing here. Going for this, I guess maybe he's trying to set up HBJ instead of CWJ, but really I think he just wants his cane. And looks like he is going to go for that through-door CWJ setup. We'll see if he's planning to carry this all the way over to Wrecked Ship, or if he's just planning to grab that cane and get out of there. And Solski is going to waste no time going in on that mushroom check, which I like, although SuperNinTaylor is going to have the cane when he gets the mushroom, so if something's behind the powder, SuperNinTaylor is going to be the first one to see that, probably, because Solski, unless he hard resets out of this, is going to lose the right to that fake powder.
Yeah, but have flippers. That's a really good find.
Yeah, so that's not a reset. Like, you're not resetting flips here. So Solski is going to be giving up on that that mushroom play, or the fake powder play with mushrooms. So if SuperNinTaylor goes for fake powder and it turns out to be something, that's actually going to be really, really big in the texture of this race unless powder shows up real soon.
Mm-hmm. And SuperNinTaylor going down the Red Tower route, like, I would have done. And Solski checking Waterfall Wishing.
Yeah, and these are both really, really defensible plays. Both runners are pushing the logic as deep as they can. SuperNinTaylor's kind of operating in the same sphere with Variasuit, headed down to Norfair and just doing chests per time, whereas Solski's really chasing the logic downstream and finding Master Sword behind those flippers.
The red orang at Power Bombs, and I missed the first item. Just some money, I think.
Yeah, nothing exciting in Red Tower yet for SuperNinTaylor, but we'll see if he takes those 4 E-Tanks plus 17 reserves that he's got to go and do an early X-ray check, and another sword at Zora. So we're going to have Tempered Sword real early for Solski. That's pretty swell. And you see that did change over to Sword 3. So Solski now has his Tempered Sword and might be inclined to stay in A Link to the Past a little more with that additional offense, but there's really not a lot left to do. So we'll see where he takes this.
He still has to check Hobo, and again, finding 2 swords in Zora, that's not bad for $500.
Nah, for 2 locations, I mean, if that's what turning in the mushroom gets you, that's pretty swell. I'm a fan of this, and so we are going to get this Hobo check. And we're Mirror and Moon Pearl away from logically being able to go get that speed booster. And so if Mirror shows up soon... Oh, 4th reserve tank. Oof.
It's better than nothing. And Super SuperNinTaylor is heading towards Kraid. Why Solski is heading to Death Mountain and probably heading to Brimstar as well to do what SuperNinTaylor's doing.
Yeah, it's nice. SuperNinTaylor did recently switch over to playing on console, and so has gotten a lot better since then.
Ooh,
and Solski is on Super NT, so it's good to see. And what do we got? We got a shield, which he's going to take.
I'd take it. Can't go wrong with defense. Now this is an out of logic check, but since he knows, like you said earlier, since he knows where speed booster is, it's worth checking. You know.
Yeah, anything he finds back here could tell him things about where the mirror has to be. And mirror is such a useful item that, you know, I think it's worth getting these checks in. And SuperNinTaylor going for the first Super Metroid boss here for Kraid. We'll see if Kraid's stand-up happens, or if he's able to execute this quick.
And Crumble Tower is just a piece of heart. Nope.
And nice quick kill there from SuperNinTaylor. He did a really nice job of not messing up the charge beam strat, which is really easy, but that I found myself screwing up left and right yesterday, so not...
Well, I just found that out recently, that if you do hit Kraid in the face with a charge beam, it does stop his hand from going up. I never knew that.
Yeah, and so you can do that for super quick kill strat without charge beam, but it's a little different on the timing for when you actually want to fire the shot. And for whatever reason, I'm just more comfortable with that now because I so seldom have charge beam in these randomizers this early. So, you know, you don't get to do the charge quick kill as much. And so I started playing some regular old Super Metroid yesterday, and I had no idea what I was doing. I think I messed it up like 3 of the 4 times I got there.
And there's a vanilla energy tank at Kraid's energy tank.
Yeah, so SuperNinTaylor now 5 tanks to Solski's 4, plus all these reserves. I think both runners are feeling pretty good on health.
Oh yeah, I would be too. SuperNinTaylor heading down south, while Solski is heading towards the big lizard.
Yeah, and these are obvious plays, so both runners are going to assume that the other runner has done or will do these things.
And there's our Moon
And there's
Pearl.
that Moon Pearl. Yeah, that's nice. That's Dark World access for our runners, which now the big difference here is Solski has those flippers, and so they're a piece of the puzzle potentially in terms of Dark World. Although we do have the glove and the hammer as well. So actually, never mind that. That was... Flippers are still a piece of the puzzle, but they're a lot less important than I had just processed them to be for a moment.
Well, without the flipper, SuperNinTaylor cannot get the thing off of the island.
Yeah, not without a little bit of finagling. He could set up if he finds boots like Skullwood's Water Walk or Fairy Revive over, if he finds the mirror, but it's more likely that he'll just find the flippers by that point.
Oh yeah.
And looks like SuperNinTaylor is also going to make the play over to check the Ice Beam location, although missing his Mach Ball, bonking the gate.
and messing it up, getting a small little bounce that will mess it up again.
Yeah, it can be a little finicky, honestly. So I like to shoulder pump through that first gate, and then you have basically infinite tries as long as you don't scroll the screen too far to the left on the other side of the gate.
Solski checking Kraid's item. And Solski getting his Moon Pearl.
Yeah, so Solski is going to carry this play back to Upper Norfair, and I think we're probably going to see some Lava Dive action.
SuperNinTaylor taking a reset. And going into Link to the Past, and so is Solski. I think Solski is... Where's he going?
He's taking that flute, and he's going to go check the Dark World. He's running that Moon Pearl.
What would you personally do? Would you chase the Moon Pearl or finish with Norfair?
It's tough, actually. There's a lot of items in Upper Norfair that are in Logic, but right now without Wave Beam or Speed Booster, Crocamire's whole area is off limits. And without Space Jump or Titan's Mitt, or Space Jump plus Gravity or Titan's Mitt's Lower Norfair isn't in Logic. So it is kind of slow. SuperNinTaylor is finding his mushroom. I'm really curious to see if he goes for this fake powder or not.
He might do that before he turns in that mushroom. And if that fake powder turns out to be something... Ooh, a nice bomb jump by SuperNinTaylor. Ooh,
and
X-ray.
Yeah, X-ray is that third piece of the beloved microwave
Fire
strat
rod.
for Super Metroid.
Energy tank.
So,
and cape.
Cape. Yeah.
That was a really good hype cave. I'm sorry to interrupt, sir.
You do you.
I get excited when I see a lot of good progression items like that fire rod, that cape, and X-ray for microwaving. It's just a really good hype cave. I got hyped. So
yeah, rightly so. It was a really nice layout of items there. I'm happy to see all of those things. Pretty good hype cave here.
Mm-hmm.
And Solski's making his traditional play of going right from Hype Cave to Pyramid, and then up to what he will call Quakefish. Everyone else calls it Catfish, he's like Quakefish. We'll have to see if he gets that and Spooky Missiles. Solski has all sorts of really non-traditional names that he calls item locations that I'm just going to try and inject into commentary.
Oh, go for
trying to make fetch happen here.
Now, I want to point out, if SuperNinTaylor does do the powder glitch with that Cane of Samaria, that red cane he has, and with that mushroom, and he turns out to get something really good, like say Gravity Suit or something other of high value from that that fake powder glitch, that will set him, pretty well, and he knows that the powder, is within logic, and set him on a good path.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what I was saying. Oh. That is an opportunity for SuperNinTaylor to kind of steal a little bit of momentum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if he gets the Gravity Suit, all Meridia would be in logic, so he wouldn't be looking for the powder. But again, the powder is only useful in that one situation, I'm pretty sure.
All right, and Quakefish shaking things up a little, giving us some super missiles from Super Metroid. So, a fine item, but not really what you want to find with Charge and Plasma already.
And Solski pulling out that lovable flute again and probably going to fly somewhere else with that swag duck he has.
If this is anything but a flute to, like, 3 or 5, I'd be surprised, and it is going to 5. SuperNinTaylor, meanwhile, getting his missiles, his flying bombs there from Darkcross. Doing a nice job of getting through the dark room.
Chat's asking what fake powder glitch is. I understand the concept, but could you explain that to chat?
Sure, yeah. It's predicated on the idea that powder and mushroom occupy the same spot in the Y item menu in A Link to the Past, and for whatever reason, if you use the Canis Samaria, don't know why, game's weird, some sort of voodoo, and are out of magic and get that buzzing I can't use that item sound, and pause within a couple frames and move over to the mushroom, you'll be able to pretty immediately use the mushroom as if it were powder. So in that way, it acts as if you have a powder that you may or may not actually have, and so it can be useful if you're out of magic and need to powder an anti-fairy, even if you have powder. But more useful, or more how we think about it, is it can let you check Magic Bat out of sequence. And I suspect that's what we'll see from SuperNinTaylor here. But no, it looks like he's setting up to flute away, so he might not be on that fake powder life.
And there's a shovel. Another fetch quest.
And shoutouts to Not Dragon Jack in chat, dropping the knowledge on me, saying you can also do fake powder with powder, so that's actually pretty cool. I did not know that, and that's actually going to be something that I, A, have to test, and then B, would implement in my decision-making for how I'm routing this game, so appreciate that.
Yeah, well, technically you're doing the same thing, but with the actual item. I mean, in glitchy logic, it makes sense.
Yeah, the biggest thing about logic is SuperNinTaylor gets his very hype cave, is that the runners aren't really going to care that much about it, but they're going to care about what it tells them. So it's going to give them a lot of information about where things are or could not be, but they aren't actually going to care about whether they're breaking it beyond the information side. And so keeping track of numerous breaks is actually one of the great challenges of this game. It's definitely a very involved and immersive level of play.
Mm-hmm. Now, my biggest problem is the key logic in Pod just confuses me so much.
It's okay. The key logic in Pod confused the A Link to the Past randomizer developers for many months as well. So it's not like it's easy logic.
I know if there's not a key in the very first chest you check, it is bow locked. After that, I don't know.
Okay, so the other easy heuristic for Pod key logic is that of the 6 front items, that is the vanilla big key, the drop-down chest, the front left chest, the 2 right side chests, and the bridge chest, 4 of those 6 at least have to be small keys. And so if you find 2 non-small key items, whether they be big key, dungeon item, non-dungeon items, you can assume, or you can know, that the rest of them have to be small keys and do things like leave behind the vanilla big key location. There's also some logic about whether you can key lock yourself that's a little more subtle, related to whether Harmless Hellway has to be a small key, and some things like there can never be a small key in the Dark Maze, for instance, that are kind of corollaries or consequences of the way that the logic has to play out because of where the key doors are. But for the most part, those are the most useful things to know. And looks like SuperNinTaylor is doing this fake powder play before he goes and turns in his mushrooms. So this is one that I'm going to be watching pretty intently. Going to be really in whether he finds something here or not.
And Solski using that big key for Solski.
And so big key puts, I mean, everything behind the big key was already out of logic because of the lamp. But with the fire rod, these runners just don't care at all about the lamp anymore. The lamp is a piece of logic, and it's otherwise completely inconsequential, kind of like that 300 rupees from Magic Bat. Not actually saying anything about where that powder is or whether it's going to be required.
That is true.
Well, it says it's not required, actually, but it's still nice to find.
Now, is there torches in this dark maze room?
There are no torches in this room unless you count the, I think they're Kadongos? They might be Dodongos, I don't know. They spit fire. They're kind of like torches, but they don't actually illuminate things. And double, triple bombs. Nice bomb finds. Gonna save him 50 rupees on Solski's side. Not gonna have to buy any bombs. But Wave Beam's a nice find. That does open Croc. So that might be the piece that gets Solski back over to Upper North there.
Mm-hmm. And SuperNinTaylor not turning in that mushroom right away and heading probably up to Skull Woods and doing those checks. Or proving me wrong and probably going down to the Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, so he won't have his flippers, he won't do Zora's Domain, and he'll be rocking that fighter's sword. Or maybe Master Sword if the fourth sword shows up for a little while. Solski, I
Probably
think...
Death Warp? I think that was...
Oh, yeah, he went back in the dark maze, yeah. So I was going to say, he wasn't at Dark Turtles yet, and that wasn't the sound of Dark Turtles.
There's a difference?
Well, Dark Turtles sound a lot like you walking around hitting things with hammers and missing them, if you're me. We'll hear the sound of Dark Turtles very soon, but basically, it's fairly easy to do with Fire Rod, so I'm not too worried about it. And because he does not yet have his cane from Note, he goes for Sexy Statue.
What? What was it?
It was a pretty ugly statue, to be fair. But he tried. So Solski is not an A Link to the Past NMG runner, so he will have fewer reps than most people on Sexy Statue.
I don't know that term, considering...
Oh. Okay, it's an NMG strat. It's what it's called in Pincus's practice hack. And so everyone just calls it Sexy Statue. It's when you push the statue to the right and then transition to pushing it upward in smooth motion.
Ah. And SuperNinTaylor inside Thieves Town, checking out this.
Oh, nice Dark Turtles so far. What? I thought that was all of them. There's one turtle left somewhere. But wow, that was really close to being like a god tier Dark Turtles from Solski.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor has found the mitts in Thieves Town. It's a little too close to vanilla for me.
Oh yeah.
But that's a really nice find. That's gonna let him check a lot of extra stuff over in this Village Outcasts area.
Mm-hmm. He can also do, what is it? Smith. At least, hammer pegs, and all that. And then grab the Smith for a world tour.
Sorry, the mitts were in the brewery or the bombable hut in South Village of Outcasts. Sorry about that. But yeah, I was watching the Dark Turtles. Like when a room goes dark, when a runner's doing dark rooms, for whatever reason I can't see anything, but I watch that screen. Don't know why. It's weird. But nice Helmasaur King fight. But yeah, he will be able to use a lot of, or get a lot of extra checks out of using those mitts. Although he's walking the other way, he's going to check out what that cape gets him, just 20 bucks. So Solski's gonna go see what he can dig up now.
He might have to dig it. He might have to dig it later if he goes see his favorite person.
I think he's gonna dig it right now. I don't know, but we'll see where he goes from here. And SuperNinTaylor is headed for that Agena check.
50 bucks for digging a hole. That's not bad.
That's good bomb money. You got to get that.
Let's see. He's gonna probably do the Skull Woods. Now, Skull Woods is a pendant, and so is Thieves Town. But in these races, I've noticed, and even in my own, and I don't know if it's the same situation with yours, I've noticed there's been a lot of progression inside of, non-crystal dungeons.
Yeah. Although those mitts were not in Thieves Town.
Yeah.
They were in the overworld, and so that's actually going to be really good for Solski, because I don't know if he's going to feel like going into Thieves or not.
True. Wave Beam was in Thieves Town, though, so... And
Wave Beam was in Pod, in the big chest.
Pod. Oh, I'm getting my nuns confused. Oopsie.
All good.
But SuperNinTaylor, though, picking up his flips and heading straight to Zora. The vanilla route to Zora.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like this play, actually. He's got his flips. He's going to be able to do a full clear of this area. He's got the mitts to make it through quickly. It's actually a pretty heads-up play. Whereas for Solski, getting grabbed in Mummy's statue room, not very heads-up. More a hands-up play.
Raise the roof in that one.
But he does not have Cane of Samari, so he is going to have to tug on this statue. A lot less sexy. But SuperNinTaylor is going to get his 2 swords here. So that's going to be nice. First item in Skullwood's just a missile pack.
There's only 2 items in Skullwoods, is that correct?
2 non-dungeon items, yes. So there's 2 item pool items in here, and so at this point, having found one of them, even if I haven't checked all of the beginning of the dungeon, I'm tempted to just press right on to Moth, because I know I'm going to complete the dungeon because... Or, no, Skull is a pendant. It's a green pendant. It's a green pendant, though, so yeah, I'm probably going to go grab that.
And I think that's what Solski's going to do. He's going to go grab that green pendant and...
Yeah, that's going to work out hopefully well for him, but I mean, it gives him an opportunity to find the second item on Moth, which is good. And with Tempered Sword, he doesn't even need to worry too much about his magic. And SuperNinTaylor now also has Tempered Sword, so... At this point, the runners have mostly done all the same stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that's kind of left on the table. There's a good amount of meat left in Upper Norfair, where we know Croc is available but out of logic, but will be in logic somewhere behind the lamp. Which, for me, because I never actually need to find the lamp, makes me kind of want to check Croc a little more. Just because I know those locations can't be the lamp, so they can be anything else. Nice Moth fight from Solski. But we have no idea where the lamp's going to show up in logic, but that'll tell us something about when Croc enters the logic. But either way, Croc, the Bubble Mountain area, we've got a little bit more of Overworld behind the mitts right now in A Link to the Past.
And Ether was required for Misery Mire, and the hook shot in Mire Shed. Yeah, so
that's a good press of the mitts for SuperNinTaylor, and it also tells him with IBJ and Varia and Mire area access that all of Lower Norfair is in logic, and Lower Norfair is fairly linear, and so I like going and checking this basically as soon as possible, and I think we're going to see him go and check what's in the GT area, and then reset and go back out if it's nothing. No, it looks like he is committed to the fight here. With Charge and Plasma, that's not so bad. It's a pretty easy fight. So this might be him saying, I'm committed to doing Lower Norfair no matter what right now. Yeah. And I think that that's a good play. But that hook shot behind the mitts does open up East Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain. With Hammer, it gets us up to Tower of Hera. There's a lot of stuff that just came into logic because of those mitts and that hook shot. So I'm kind of tempted to get back into A Link to the Past and chase that stuff.
I would be too. What was that item? I didn't see it. Missiles.
SuperNinTaylor didn't either, but he found out that it was 20 rupees.
He might go. Oh, he's actually going for it.
Yeah, and I think that this is the right play. The game has given you everything, and one of the things that is deepest in the logic right now is going and doing Lower Norfair, and all of the checks are fairly quick. As long as you're comfortable doing the Lower Norfair execution, which SuperNinTaylor is, this is a pretty high value play because it gives you a bunch of items that you can check that are kind of all right in the way, but that...
And that was Ether, and that's for Misery Mire. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but...
Hey, okay, you get excited, I understand. So that does give us that Mire access. So when Solski gets over there, he's gonna have the option of going right on into Misery Mire. Although if he doesn't get to moat, he won't have that cane.
Yeah, he has to get them. He has to get that moat.
Yeah, each of our runners having a key piece of the Misery Mire puzzle. That hookshot's going to be there for both of them as a way to get across the first gap in Mire 1. But having the Ether Medallion versus having the Cane of Samaria is going to play out kind of on the different screens. We'll see when each runner pieces it together.
Well, and Solski's situation is... In Solski's situation, he will, if he has to go through the moat to get to Wreck Ship, unless he takes the Forgotten Highway, he will run into that Cane Samaria. SuperNinTaylor would have to go and check Skull Woods. And
yeah.
If he doesn't go to Skull Woods for I don't know how long, he won't even see that Ether access for quite some time.
Yeah, thankfully Skullwoods is a green pendant, and so that adds a little bit of extra value to it. But you're absolutely right that is one of those things that could really be a hang up for SuperNinTaylor. And he's going for the space jump strat into Amphitheater here, although he does not have space jump, and he's going to need to stay ahead of this acid, because if he gets dunked in the acid here, that's pretty much GG. It's going to be real hard to get out without space jump.
That is true.
And he knows it too, so he's really slowing down here, using some charged plasma shots. Solski is making that play independent thieves.
He might just finish it just for sheer lulls, unless he finds that... How many items is he? Two?
There's 4 items in Thieves Town. Although sometimes you can get up to 3 of them in the very front. SuperNinTaylor could be using X-Ray on these key hunters, would be a little faster than what he's doing, but sometimes can be a little awkward as well. So instead, he's just playing it really, really safe, using charged plasma shots. And so there was a big key and 10 arrows in the front 4. What were the other 2 chests in the front of Thieves Town?
Not important for me to notice. I think Super Missiles was one of them, and another item.
Okay, yeah. If it was not map or compass, there's only a small key. Okay. So there are 2 items here in the back, one of which might be also behind the hammer, although the hammer wasn't very well hidden this seed. It was just hanging out in Super Metroid, freely available. Right there at Bomb Terizo. And SuperNinTaylor being very, very careful in Lower Norfair here with these Disgigas in Wasteland. Just trying to preserve his health, but he's taking a bit of a beating from this guy.
Yeah, I don't like those side hoppers. Well, they're not side hoppers, you said the name. And
Yeah, they are Disgigas. They've got leg warmers. Their legs get very, very cold. And so I don't know why that gave them the name Disgigas, but it did.
Now this Ridley fight is going to be really interesting because you can't microwave Ridley, which is
Mhm.
one of the few things you cannot do, which I can understand that. I mean, by this point in the vanilla game, you already have wave, you know, or you already have plasma and all this nifty little tricks.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't expect to because Ridley's hitbox is so big that if Plasma pierced Ridley, it would be way, way too easy to do the Ridley fight in sort of intended circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a shocker that Plasma does not have or that Ridley is immune to the piercing property of Plasma.
I see SuperNinTaylor probably going to be farming some health.
Yeah, thankfully these Zebos coming up, I think, are 56% or 56 out of 102 to have big health and 40 out of 102 to have super missiles. So these are going to be some worthwhile drops. And then it's like 4 missiles and 2 power bombs
Now,
as the other 6 drops in the 102 table.
Solski checking the big chest, and it's just missiles. And he's just gonna do the blind fight while he's here, you know, why not?
Yeah, I think he's on this pedestal play, which with Tower of Hera being the last pendant, the pendants are all in logic already. And just saying, you know what, screw going to get that book. I'm just gonna.
He doesn't know the book's there.
Go right for it.
He
Oh yeah,
he hasn't.
Did he not check?
No.
That's fair.
I mean, I've seen most runners wait until they get boots to check because it's a lot quicker, and I don't blame people for doing that. It's a lot quicker.
So Solski falling off script a few frames behind on that third hit in blind. So now, unless he's some sort of savant, he has no idea where what the script for blind looks like, and so he's just kind of reading the bullet hell script, but does a good job, gets that 4th item and that red pen. And SuperNinTaylor is doing the Ridley fight, making good work of it so far. Pretty nice pogo management. He's going to do a spin jump and then kind of turn back to Ridley to try and keep him moving back and forth in the pogo. It's hard to get him to necessarily break for a pogo in that in sort of that last leftward state, but he's decided Ridley's dead. Ridley has not yet decided to acquiesce to being dead, and in fact is not dead.
Solski doing hammer pegs. I think he's gonna do the digging game here shortly. Gonna dig up something good, hopefully, from that.
Yeah, Ridley looking good and dead, and is dead. So we'll see if Ridley's got anything. This is in logic right now, so this is one of the deepest logical checks for SuperNinTaylor, and it is bomb money.
Just picking it up.
Yeah, nothing too exciting, but this was behind Charge Beam and Titan's Mitts and Flute and Varia and Bombs, and there were a lot of items that the runners had to have to put that Ridley check in logic, and they had all of them, so you know, it makes sense to get down here and give it a go. Plus, it gets you a boss done, and you have to kill them all, so...
Yeah, but it's like Pokemon, but instead of killing, you gotta catch them.
Yes. Exactly that, in that order. Digging game, not much for Solski. We'll see what Stump Kid has.
Let's see old Stumpy. Usually what he gives me is junk, but you know.
Yeah, we'll see it. Nope, just another big 20 to follow up the dig 20.
I'm surprised
so
Solski
lots of
did
currency.
not get the... Solski didn't pick up the blacksmith either, and I bet he's just now realizing that, unless he's going to chase that wave beam and everything.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him make a play to Super Metroid, but it looks like he's staying away from that. And are we going to turn in that green pendant?
Yeah, we're gonna get
Yes, we are. So this is aggressive. We'll see if it pays off. Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor is doing his Lower North exit. There are 3 more items on Lower North exit, plus he's going to end up in the Bubble Mountain area. And so there's a bunch more items at Bubble Mountain. If by a bunch more, I'm allowed to mean 8. But,
And
I think that's a bunch.
A little bit of love from Shalasala. He's thinking Ice Palace. He has that fight. It's in logic.
Yeah, he's got flippers, he's got mitts, he's got fire rod. He wants to get in there. So this is what I was talking about aggressive Solski plays here. This is the sort of thing where he's thinking SuperNinTaylor won't be here. I'm sure that he's making this play with the intent that he will be the first person to be in Ice Palace.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I did, on my off day, I did finish that seed that I had to forfeit where Ice Palace had progression and...
Oh my gosh, SuperNinTaylor. Dude.
He took a safety
You gotta
save.
stop. Yeah, but you gotta, like, stop getting hit by these key hunters. He does have Crystal Flash ammo. Yeah. But, like, this is, like, a little bit Monka-esque here on the health management.
Monka-esque. You know, I didn't realize that was a Ridley formation in the rock until someone pointed it out to me. I forgot when they pointed it out. But I didn't realize that was like Ridley's mouth and his hand, reaching for it. Until someone told me in chat, I think. And that one piece you see that's still lit is his eye. Now,
yeah, there's some really cool sort of map design in Super Metroid in terms of the individual room.
Oh, he has that reserve tank. I forgot about that.
I think he's got like 3 reserve tanks.
Solski has 4. I'm not gonna lie, I like getting items for Super Metroid inside of Link to the Past over getting them in Super Metroid for the simple fact I love Super Metroid, wholeheartedly, and just it's like a kid at Christmas when a chest pops up with something you want from Super Metroid when it's in a chest. I mean, that's my personal experience. It's just like Christmas.
Yeah, I think most people will echo that sentiment, although for various reasons. I think people like finding their Super Metroid progression in A Link to the Past in a large part because having to full clear Super Metroid takes a while, but it's overall fairly item dense. And SuperNinTaylor is going to just take it easy, play this nice and slow here with these key hunters, although he just got dunked on by that one. So hopefully he's able to not take 2 more hits from this guy. Ooh, he is getting... Now SuperNinTaylor is the one playing aggressive.
Now, the thing that SuperNinTaylor has and Solski doesn't is a hook shot to get across this room.
Yeah, this bomb jump is a lot easier than Solski's making it look. There, he lines himself up on the bottom pixel and just gets a free bomb jump right across.
Mm-hmm. And SuperNinTaylor out of Ridley's area and now into the wave area.
Yeah, thankfully, these things here that SuperNinTaylor's doing and the enemies in this area are much less fierce than the ones on the Lower North exit. So with Various Suit, even though there's lots of spikes and things that can hit you, he should be in pretty good standing here. And there's an easy farm on the Speed Booster exit area. I think it's a pool of gamuts that are coming out of the ground. Should be gamuts. Might even be Zebos. I think Zebos are only Lower Norfair, though. I think it's a pool of gamuts. But either way, There's a bunch of bugs coming out of a pit that he'll be able to farm and get some extra health and drops.
Nothing worthwhile that wave and checking the speed location. And Solski looking for some health.
Then getting pegged by the little fireball spitter. So, kind of scum.
I mean, Ooh, there's Quake. Now, I had this happen to me in a race, and because of the version of the Link to the Past that is used for this randomizer, you could barely be 1 pixel on the screen and something can hit you and do damage to you because of the version of the Link to the Past. You can,
yeah.
I mean, I laid a bomb. It was actually an Ice Palace that first dropped down, and I was dropping down and I planted a bomb, but I was already going down the hole before, and I was just a little bitty pixel, and a little bitty bit of the pixel from the bomb explosion killed me.
Yep, in the Japanese 1.0 version of A Link to the Past, or of Zelda no Densetsu Kamigami no Triforce, I guess, technically, your hitbox will persist as you fall into a hole, so you can sometimes get double hit, and actually, you can pretty easily hard lock yourself or your game on Laser Bridge doing that. And having a little bit of trouble with this directional bomb throw on Solski's screen, but he'll be able to make it through. And does take that death to that Freezor, hitting him as his hitbox persists falling into the hole. So it's a bad death there on Solski's side. We'll see if he decides to go right back in. He does have magic to fight again, so this is good.
And there's the magic powder we were talking about. Found in Norfair Reserve. So SuperNinTaylor knows where the powder is. So, but he's already checked Magic Bat, so there's that. Now,
yeah.
Do you think he'll go to Kraid, or will he?
I sincerely doubt either runner will go back to Kraid a second time. I don't think there's anything left in Kraid's area.
Oh, not Kraid. Crocomire. Big lizard. Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant Croc.
Okay. That's a little more defensible of a call. It looks like he is not going to make that play. That play is out of logic for him because he doesn't have Speed Booster or Wave Beam. And it is kind of a slow thing to do, so I can see making the Croc skip here, even though both runners are fully capable of doing the Blue Gate glitch to get down there.
I think Solski, the only thing he has to do. And there's the lamp.
Yeah. Lamp at Cathedral Missiles, which I almost called Cathedral PBs in representation of how often first power bombs are there in the current version being used for the Super Metroid Randomizer League, which is a lot of fun, but sometimes your first power bombs are there in Cathedral behind a Hell Run, and a lot of people find that less fun. Not sure why. I like it. Yeah, chat is already on to what that lamp gets us. Lamp does get us Wave Beam as well, which gets us Croc access, but it also does get us Aghanim.
Yeah.
And Solski finally gets to drop down that hole from double Freezors without getting ganked by Freezors there, and so does find his missile pack and is on to Cold Stare.
And SuperNinTaylor is going to do the Death Mountain checks and Dark Death Mountain checks probably.
Yeah, this is the highest density of items for SuperNinTaylor. Plus it'll let him get the reconnaissance on what is going to be required for Turtle Rock access. So I like this play for SuperNinTaylor. And there he's finding his first bottle.
A
bottle of blue goo.
And Solski putting the puffs in the corner.
Yeah, 6/ didn't quite work out, but overall got a pretty nice open. And Cold Stare giving up that small case, saying, "You should have gone to Moat, had the Cane of Samaria before you came here, sir." But he'll find that soon enough.
Yeah. And I missed what was in Paradox Cave. I only know Blue Boomerang. Oh, Screw Attack, apparently.
Yep, it was Screw Attack, Blue Boomerang, and a whole bunch of nothing.
Uh,
So, unfortunately, exactly what SuperNinTaylor didn't want to find after doing Lower Norfair.
oh,
But
of course
looks
not.
like he's a little torn. He doesn't know if he wants to do Hammer Peg or whether he wants to do Slow Spiral Cave and then into Super Bunny for that check and just get the Scout on Turtle Rock. And I guess he's saying, I absolutely do not want to go into Turtle Rock right now, even if it's Quake. Plus, who wants double vanilla medallions? Like, this is a randomizer. Screw this.
Apparently someone's saying he got super screwed in Paradox.
Solski's about to get his hook shot.
Yep. He's gonna be like, I did that bomb jump for nothing.
Nah, he's gonna feel good about it. He's gonna say,
He's saving
okay,
and quitting.
cool. I didn't do that bomb jump for nothing.
He's going into Super Metroid. Now, do you think he'll pick up the lamp out of Cathedral? Or that one area where the lamp was found?
He has to go to... I was gonna say, he has to go to Upper Norfair to get it done. I think that lamp is a ways off. I think if he sees the lamp there, he'll grab it. Because it's worth having for Ganon's tower management and things like that. Like, there are parts where you're happy to have the lamp, and it does make the dark rooms faster, even though the runners are fully comfortable doing it without. Nice half magic there. That also makes Ganon's tower magic management more comfortable. But yeah, chat on it is on this one. Does Solski go Hera, then Ped? And I think he's gonna. I think Ped is gonna be garbage, and then he's gonna feel really behind.
Ether for Turtle Rock.
Okay, so double Ether today. That Quake medallion is completely pointless, unless SuperNinTaylor wants to use it to, like, kill some Pengators or something.
And now we're checking, what is it? Can't think of it. Hookshot Cave, there we go.
Yep. I was gonna say, you weren't hovering Hookshot Cave today, because he found his boots there.
And he found another boodle of blue goo.
Yeah, so Hookshot Cave, 100% behind that Mire Shed check. But that is going to open up some nice movement in the Link to the Past side for both runners. SuperNinTaylor setting himself up for Spike Cave.
Now, did SuperNinTaylor? Yeah, he checked Spiral Cave. I didn't see it.
Yeah, he tromped on through there all slow and got a big 20 at the end.
Now, is Space Jump required only to activate that statue in Lower Norfair, or is it required anywhere else?
With the runners having bombs and having Mitts plus Flute, Space Jump in this seed will only be logically required for exactly that one item. Now, there are other times where it can be required for things, like it sets Can Fly equals true, which opens up a lot of items in the logic in Super Metroid, and it can also be required for Lower Norfair access logically if you don't have the Flute plus Mitts. I'm also bad at English today, apparently.
I'm rubbing off on you. That's what happens.
Yeah. These things happen. These seeds they do take a while. We are about 90 minutes in. And so at the hour-and-a-half mark, if y'all are dilly-dallying on this, these runners are really, really good and are 4-0 in this tournament for a reason. And if you enjoy crossover randomizer and a decent amount of rage. Now, SuperNinTaylor is actually really like low salt. Solski is a saltier guy, but they're both great streamers, and you should give them a follow, show them some support. So, shout outs to our tracker, Mind of Me. She's tracking not only all the items, but also keeping track of when we tell you guys to go follow the runners and hitting that bang R in chat. So, go click those links, give them some follows. SuperNinTaylor is making that pod play. He's going to end up getting his wave beam. We might see him feel a little bad about that croc skip as Solski gets his boots and unlocks his hover potential as well.
Does Solski know how to hover?
Both runners know how to hover. Both runners are very competent at it. Both runners are better than I am at it.
It's hard to do on an emulator. I tried.
Well, neither runner's on emulator, thankfully. Solski's playing on a Super NT console, which is like an FPGA something or other HD reproduction Super Nintendo that plays at 60 FPS instead of 60.09. So he is losing like a second every 10 minutes. So putting himself at a handicap for that beautiful image. And SuperNinTaylor is playing on a Super Nintendo, true to his name. SuperNinTaylor was on emulator for quite a while, though. I think he just got his Super Nintendo and capture setup up and running this past summer.
I'm gonna hopefully get that all set up by late spring or so. I just need to find a Super Nintendo after that. I asked if I could borrow my buddy's. He said no, I need it to play the Dr. Mario redone.
That's a good buddy, honestly. If your buddy won't let you borrow his Super Nintendo because he's using it, that's a buddy that's worth keeping. Better buddies are the ones who have extra Super Nintendos to loan out, though.
I asked him I only need it just for races, and he's like, yeah, but I might get the urge to play Dr. Mario in, better graphics. So, I mean, like, if I was racing, he's like, okay, I need my Super Nintendo, And Solski checking and seeing if the book, or check to see his book.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, yeah, a couple slashes. He's not feeling that one.
I got a feeling he might go to Hera just to blind pull the ped.
I wouldn't be shocked to see that play. But turning the bottle first seems good. We know this is nothing.
It's an energy tank. It's more health.
Okay, that's at this point, E-tanks are basically nothing. But yeah, chat starting to talk about who is in the lead or not. Solski is going back to Meyer. That's going to be interesting because he doesn't yet have his cane.
He might just be going to Lower Norfair.
That's what I'm hoping, and that's what it looks like. I like this play a lot more than the Meyer play because he's, he's an SMZ3 runner, which means he is trying to stay away from wrecked ship if he can.
Oh, hey,
yeah, chat pointing out.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go.
What was chat pointing out?
Oh, that whoever finds Mirror has some substantial advantage here. Right now, Mirror would be a way to access desert. It'll be a way to access swamp. And so it would be the last logical piece that we need to complete all of the crystal dungeons. Given that we know the Turtle Rock Medallion is ether.
Now it's just a matter of time when SuperNinTaylor makes that play to go that way to Skullwoods.
Yeah, right now Ether Medallion in Pendant Skull is the item that we've found that is most out of the way. And so that points to Solski having, for now, a tenuous advantage, but these are things that can dissolve when runners choose to make these off the beaten path checks. And so these things are very tenuous, these leads.
I mean, it can shift it one way to another at any point in time, depending on route divergence. Now, Solski's going to have a lot easier time going through this area than SuperNinTaylor. He has the screw attack, he has the wave beam, he has damage.
Yeah, he has charge wave plasma, he has screw attack, and realistically, most of the advantage rests in that screw attack.
Oh
Screw
yeah.
attack is really, really useful for lower Norfa. That's why I was saying SuperNinTaylor was pretty sad to see it where he did, because he had just done lower Norfair and now finds screw attack. Like, this is so much faster for Solski, and it's not SuperNinTaylor's fault.
No.
It's just where the items fell.
I mean, I can get behind why Solski did the routing he's doing now.
Yeah.
I mean,
SuperNinTaylor not having to push the statue though.
yeah, yeah, that's true. He doesn't have to mess with the sexy statue. And Solski's able to just destroy these pirates in one swift hit. You know, not have to worry about falling in the lava.
Yeah, folks like to ask whether you save more time in execution in Super Metroid or in A Link to the Past. And it's an interesting question because you spend most of the time in this game in A Link to the Past in almost every seed. It's a longer game, you have more stuff to do, you spend more time there. And yet, in Super Metroid, there are some rooms where it's easy to just lose half a minute to a minute on execution if you don't do it right or do it with the wrong item set. And so it's kind of interesting that even though you spend less time in Super Metroid, execution probably plays a larger role in the Super Metroid side of the game in terms of saving time.
I'm not gonna deny it. I agree with him. But when you fail something in Super Metroid, you just feel like an idiot. Just like, oh, come on. Something just, an input got eaten or something just failed. And you just, all that like setup or doing a wall jump continuously and you just fall. You just lose so much progression when you, like going up the old Mother Brain Tower, for example. I mean, I don't know how many times I've failed that wall jump going up that tower, and you just fall so far down. And it's the truth. And in Link to the Past, it's just a simple, oh, the door's right here. I was right here. Oh, okay. Or you can route yourself into a better way with Super or Link to the Past than you can in Super Metroid.
Yeah, A Link to the Past and especially cross-game routing is really, really important for good times in this. And at the end of the day, for the most part, a good time comes down to when do you hit that switch and go into go mode? Like when do you find the last item you need to put yourself in go mode? And so a lot of good time is also just setting yourself up and minimizing the item set that you need to complete the game. So actually just before the race, Solski and I were spending some time talking about Grapple Escape Dragon, just because that's one of the ways that you can get around Gravity Suit. And I think he said that he's not feeling like going for it in this race. So I think that he might still be regarding Gravity Suit as a required item, but we'll see. If he finds Space Jump and Grappling Beam, Gravity Suit might quickly leave his suite of items that he's going to look for, because we're still at a pretty good time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hour and a half in, that's not bad.
Oh no, the runners are basically go mode -3, each of them. SuperNinTaylor is minus Gravity Mirror and Ether, and he knows it. And Solski is minus Gravity Mirror and Cane of Samaria, and he also knows that. And so they have all the information they need and are 3 items off at under an hour and 40 minutes, with plenty of stuff left to do. This seed's going well for both runners.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not going stellar for either of them, but they're both fine with how this is playing out, I think.
SuperNinTaylor checking Quakefish.
Yep, he's going to get his super missiles.
Woot.
It's funny because super missiles shake and knock things off of walls in Super Metroid, and Quake shakes you in A Link to the Past. So I think that's kind of like a a bit of a vanilla item there. I think super missiles kind of are in flavor for the Quakefish.
And the one thing Solski has, he has a lot more health than SuperNinTaylor did when he was going through this room. That's for sure.
Yeah, although really the big thing is screw attack. I mean, if you want to see the difference screw attack makes, just watch as Solski just blows through the 3 musketeers here in a couple rooms.
Oh yeah. He won't have to worry about it, and SuperNinTaylor making his play into ice. Not gonna find anything, but you know, it's still something.
Yeah, so a big potential point of divergence coming up here as we see the runners kind of overlapping is if Solski decides to take that wave beam down and check Croc.
Mm-hmm.
And Solski, saying, screw it, I've got screw attack, I don't need to worry about 3 musketeer hits, I'm just going to take this acid damage and get through this room a little faster.
Yeah, see, unlike SuperNinTaylor had to stop, wait, you know. Now, it's going to also speed up through here, too, because SuperNinTaylor also had to bomb each one, wait for the explosion, and so on and so forth.
Yep, and Solski's going to route in his Bubble Mountain checks here, and what I'm looking for is for Solski to go down and make that Croc play, although Solski's going to have to go around again. Some bonus door transitions here on left side. Messing up those platforms, and without speed boost or space jump, it's actually kind of tough to get back up there, so this is a good call. But a little bit of an execution blunder for Solski.
Mm-hmm.
SuperNinTaylor has his bomb jump, and nice sort of NMG approach there. SuperNinTaylor is an A Link to the Past NMG runner. Last I checked, I think he had a 127. Maybe, or no, he doesn't have 127. I don't remember what time he has. He has a good time. It's not a 127 though, but he has a really nice NMG, A Link to the Past time. Better than mine, whatever it is. And showing off some of those really nice NMG strats. And also the hook shot.
Yeah, this is gonna make, like, Solski had to do that bomb jump and to get over there, but SuperNinTaylor just whips out the hook shot and whips it across the gap, and it a little bit quicker. And doing these rooms, you know, going across that spike pit and stuff, you know.
Yeah, so Solski chose to pick up that Quake medallion. I'm pretty sure he's seen both Meyer and T-Rock at this point. I don't remember 100% that he saw Turtle Rock.
He used the Turtle Rock portal to get into, to go to, what is it, Hookshot Cave.
Okay, then, yeah, so he should know that that Quake medallion isn't required, but there is no fanfare on items in Super Metroid. And so you don't really get punished for grabbing extra stuff Super Metroid's side as long as it's not out of the way.
I mean, he was already down that way, so he already knows that's 20 rubies down there. And then he will pick up that powder because he has not checked Magic Bat yet. And SuperNinTaylor using that hammer to get across that that slippery floor there, so. I wonder if Solski will go down to Croc. Yeah, he's going down to Croc.
Yeah, I like this play. With Wave Beam now being in Logic, but he's going to check Cathedral first.
Probably pick up his lamp and all that good stuff. I do love the music in Super Metroid over Link to the Past, though. I mean, it's personal preference. The tones and melodies and beats that the Super Metroid does.
And he is going to go and get his lamp. So he's saying, yeah, that saves enough time. I still have to do Meyer Dark Rooms, Turtle Rock, Ganon's Tower especially. Now he has half magic already, so the magic management is a little easier. SuperNinTaylor can save some time here just by not dying in Ice Palace, but could lose time if he messes up these hookshot clips.
Yeah, instead of taking Solski. Now, Solski died trying to get to that big chest last time. So, you know, SuperNinTaylor did have the nice advantage of having that hook shot.
Yeah, the nice advantage of only doing Ice Palace once is a pretty solid time save.
Now, Crocomire is going to be a blink you miss it fight.
I think it's going to be more of a he blinks fight, where he's going to use charged plasma strats on Crocomire. So if you haven't seen this before, check out the Moonwalk showcase here on Solski's side of the screen. Although he did use the angle shot here to just kind of clip Crocomire a little bit.
Why isn't he flashing?
So he didn't fire the beam the whole way through him, so unfortunately...
Ooh, mirror.
Not great, but fortunately, there's the mirror. Yeah, a triumph shot there. That is real good. So that puts Speed Booster in logic off of Lake Hylia Island. But more importantly, could basically just be, you know, a way to just go wreck Swamp and to do Desert in logic for the runners without going to go get that Book of Medora.
That's true. And also our lovely tracker has clipped a thing of Solski saying bet on Croc, apparently. I do not know.
I think it's the one where Solski was grappling Croc and ended up out of bounds and died and lost like 20 minutes. So it's probably not Solski being fond of Croc.
The Red Cane is at Moat.
Yeah, Red Cane's at Moat on the way to Wrecked Ship.
And SuperNinTaylor, I did not realize this until now, has not checked Escape or the Uncle yet.
Yeah, this will be fairly quick now with boots.
I don't think if there was anything of value in this.
I'm really curious if we find... So we don't have Spring Ball, but if we find Spring Ball and Space Jump and Grapple, if Solski is going to be comfortable going and doing backdoor Suitless Dragon. I kind of want to see that come up in this race, just because I want to know what decision he'd make. I know he was just working on the Grapple Escape to Dragon in the hours leading up to this race.
Now, is Green Gate glitching in the logic of
It is
Croc?
not. It is not. Otherwise, Croc would be in logic without Wave Beam or so without Wave Beam and without Gravity, or without Wave Beam and Speed Booster. Sorry. Solski is going to have to IBJ this rather than use Speed Booster, but this is better than having to come back down into this area.
He did take a safety save before coming down here, so there's that.
Oh, no! That's a big oops. That's just unfortunate. And he's probably, based on the inconsistency of these bomb jumps, feeling pretty unhappy with that outcome there. That's a terrible spot to mess up that bomb jump. And SuperNinTaylor's doing some of his overworld cleanup here with the boots. We just saw King's Tomb was nothing. It might be better for Solski to just go get the speed booster and leave this pantry item. I mean, I've spent 10 minutes doing this wall jump or this bomb jump in a race before, like in a weekly. So I completely identify with this. Oh, that's one you're gonna go back up and get, dude. You're going right back up there. This bomb jump's gonna be worth his time.
Oh yeah. Well, it also, I mean, he knows where the speed booster is, but I know he doesn't want to make. I know he doesn't want to make 2 trips down this way.
Yeah, and so chat is pointing out this does constitute what folks like to call as no mode in this randomizer, where we as the audience know where all the important items are. Solski, I don't know, he might do Meridia before he does Wrecked Ship, and so it might be a while before we find that King of Samaria. But I would say that given how in path the items that Solski needs are, just go right, don't bonk. Okay. Made it. First try. But yeah, he's in a good spot here on how he's doing in this race.
Oh yeah.
He may not feel it. His movement is a little flustered looking, like I feel like he might feel a little behind, but he's in a good position in this race.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor might be taking that wave beam and going back and checking Crocomire. We'll see. He doesn't have speed booster, so this is a really interesting routing decision. I guess he just wants the save. I'm not sure why he wants the save there.
I got a feeling that Solski, knowing him, he will probably make a detour to what is it? I gotta think about it. Detour to go get the speed booster off the floating island before he goes to Meridia, because having that speed booster is really valuable at this point.
Yeah, I mean, 100% you go get that speed booster when, like, around when you're doing Swamp, because it's going to save time in Tori. And I don't know if we'll do that before doing Meridia, but I mean, it saves differential amounts of time pretty much everywhere, so the sooner you get it, the better. And I think that that's what he's concluded about this as well, as SuperNinTaylor is making that play he needs to make to Croc. My worry for SuperNinTaylor, much like my worry for Solski, is the undesirable location of the last item that the runners need.
What are they missing besides?
SuperNinTaylor needs to go to Swamp.
Skullwood.
Or Skullwood, sorry. He needs to go to Skull. And there's Blinky Croc.
Oh my god. He's Techno Croc there for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs to go to Skullwoods to get his Ether Medallion from the big chest. Which is only really crappy because Skull is a pendant, green pendant though. Whereas Solski needs to get his Ether Medallion from the least loved part of the Super Metroid map over in Wrecked Ship. Or his King of Samaria, sorry. And knowing Solski, I think he's going to just go do full clear Swamp, then probably backdoor Dragon, and when that's nothing, I think we might see a partial front of Meridia or a backdoor exit, and then reset to ship, just in terms of what's left in path. And so I think he'll probably get his red cane fairly shortly, whereas SuperNinTaylor, I think, probably does front to back front to back Meridia from here. And also does swamp. Or, yeah, does swamp. And I guess both runners still need to do desert. I would be surprised if we don't see desert as a play here, given that mirror and book are both available.
That is true.
A good thing about Wrecked Ship is that getting that mirror to go get Speed Booster puts Wrecked Ship in logic, because we didn't yet have, or I guess Gravity Suit also put it in logic, Gravity Suit and High Jump Boots, or Gravity Suit plus IBJ, so never mind. But I was going to say that mirror gets Speed Booster, gets Wrecked Ship in logic, because we haven't seen Spring Ball or Space Jump or Grappling Beam yet, but Gravity Suit kind of makes that a moot point.
He's gonna come back in and do left side. Well, it looks like he's not gonna do pedestal. Oh, Pet is dead. And Solski doesn't get to go see his favorite buddy in Meridia. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I would be very surprised given that we've not found Grappling Beam yet. Now, if Grapple shows up in Meridia, I think we may see SuperNinTaylor make that sort of a Shack Tool play. But I would be surprised if... I mean, Solski's not going to. I can't say isn't going to. He's highly unlikely to make that play. I'd say in SuperNinTaylor's position, especially because he might thin items out pretty far, that we're more likely to see it on his side. But it's not completely dead that we'll get to see the Super Metroid digging game.
Oh, Bombos.
And yeah, completely pointless medallion in the back of Swamp. But we do know where all the medallions are now.
Mm-hmm.
And SuperNinTaylor not very fond of the Rippers here. They wouldn't have gotten in his way. And SuperNinTaylor saving some time on this bomb jump. Really nice bomb jumping by him to get that Gravity Suit. He'll be feeling good about that one. As Solski was going for the zero cycle and sets it up again. Commits to really going for that zero cycle or one cycle strat, I guess, at this point on Argus, but nicely done.
Yep, we are in no mode on both, which is kind of nice.
Yep. We got there about a little before 150, and so we're in that stage of the game where both the runners are hunting for kind of that one last item. And this is what these things come down to more often than not. I mean, thankfully, the items aren't in absolutely horrible spots. But, you know, we have this race where either runner could still conceivably win. If SuperNinTaylor makes this completely clutch call over to Skullwoods, like, I think it's unlikely, but like at the same time, like he would take the lead at that point.
Oh yeah.
Or if Solski decides to put off Wrecked Ship forever, like that's really, really good for SuperNinTaylor. And that's what these races come down to more often than not, is who goes to the place with the thing first. And sometimes the thing is different between the runners as it is here. I'd say, in agreement with Act the Boker in chat, that Solski has a better path to his Go Mode item, given that it's in a conceivable path that he will be taking directly toward attempting to finish the game. And when items end up in the path that you would take to finish the game, it tends to work out better for you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember, like, I wouldn't blame SuperNinTaylor for what he did checking the mode area, because, I mean, I did the same thing in my very first race. I only had 4 energy tanks, and I saw that various suit, and I'm like, yep, I'm not gonna do Phantoon with 4 energy tanks. I'm out. And I went to Lower Norfair, got some more health, and you know, noped out of a situation without, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's capable of doing the CBW. Yeah, right? CBW?
Is
Continuous Wall Up.
that the counter cleaner?
No.
Or delivery service, or I don't even know. The trick is the CWJ.
Thank you. Thank you. I was off by one letter, one letter placement. You know, I'm pretty sure he could have done the CWJ and got
Oh
into
yeah.
wreck ship that way and continued on. But
yeah, it was more out of respect for the logic that he wouldn't have done that, because he didn't have logical access, and wreck ship without speed booster is kind of a trap play anyway. So like if he went there and something was at wreck ship reserve, like breaking logic into getting punished is something that you generally want to avoid doing in this game. And so I agree with not making the play to wreck ship when he did. But scouting that mode item is a very nice play. It only costs about 8.5 extra seconds, most of it being door transitions. But SuperNinTaylor was in the Skullwoods area and is now headed the wrong way, so we need to will him to go back up towards Skull.
Yep.
Instead, he's going towards Smiths.
And there's speed booster for Solski.
Yeah, so this could be, I mean, Desert into Lower Norfair Portal reset to ship wrecked ship, and that would be insane. That would be basically the vision for Solski at this point.
Desert is a crystal.
He's already checked this item location because he already has his hook shot.
Yeah.
So he just wanted to see the fireballs again.
Yeah. He's probably gonna do desert.
Yeah, this is 100% the desert play. I think he thought he had already mirrored.
Well, desert was boots locked.
Yeah, this is Solski again showing his lack of NMG experience here in grabbing the key in desert, but overall doing a really nice job. Getting the big key here and the small key, so he's gonna go look for items because it could be the Canis Samaria over here. And so, not boots locked today in desert. And if this is the map over here, this right side desert's gonna feel bad. But no, it is one item. So here, he is doing the big chest before he does land mo. I disagree with this. It's basically a 50-50. And he's going to kill land mo no matter what. And he has the mirror anyway. But we'll see. Is it? Nope, it's the map. Maximum punished. But he does have the mirror to get back out quickly. And Peebs at the purple chest.
Checkerboard cave check. Now, in his search for this cane, he might stumble across the ice rod. Or not ice rod, but ice beam. And that would be really valuable. And it looks like SuperNinTaylor is also making the desert play.
Yeah, and this is an obvious play for both runners.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ether could be here for SuperNinTaylor, and this is a completable crystal dungeon that is fast.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that neither runner went here earlier is kind of surprising.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they really couldn't. I mean, without the mirror, I mean, they didn't get the croc, you know, until, like, late.
Mm-hmm. But Croc was out of logic for a long while.
Mm-hmm.
And Croc had the mirror, which means that Croc had to be put in logic by Wave Beam, which was behind Lamp.
Yeah, that's true.
And so Croc wasn't in logic for quite a while. And so it makes sense that neither runner wanted to go to Croc.
That's a load of Croc.
SuperNinTaylor with the Desert 2 spin speed. Nicely done, menuing from Fire Rod. over to, or I guess over to Fire Rod, sorry. Second item on Landmo, that's why you go do Landmo before you go back for the big chest there, is it's a 50-50 whether it's there in the big chest. And so you could have just saved yourself the 15-ish seconds of going and checking that big chest for map. But it will give Solski +1 on item collection rate on his credits, so it wasn't for nothing.
Now, in terms of dungeons completed, Solski has done Swamp over SuperNinTaylor, and SuperNinTaylor will probably clear Swamp over checking Skull Woods. He's, you know.
So Solski is going to do his mirror checks here. Okay, I thought he was going for Smith sequence. But it looks like he's going for North Dark World stuff. Mirror Ledge, Bonk Rock, or not Bonk Rocks.
He's already done Bonk Rocks and
King's Tomb.
He's already done.
He's done King's Tomb?
And the Bonk Rocks
so just...
after yeah, checking this one-off location just in case.
Yeah, which is defensible, knocking out some of those overworld locations, especially stuff behind Mirror, because Mirror was pretty deep in the logic.
Mm-hmm. Cave 45.
And,
just for
yeah,
some
an 11th heart, not unwelcome. Not what he's looking for, but worth grabbing, I think. I agree with that call.
He also still has Cave 45 and a few other mirror locations.
Yeah, one of the nice things is that SuperNinTaylor will be able to 100% go mode Meyer and T-Rock, whereas Solski could potentially dive Meyer looking for that cane. I personally... No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've watched Solski run, and you've known Solski a lot longer than me. But I know, watching his streams and whatnot, I've noticed he has a slight aversion unless he checks everywhere else just to make sure not to double dip, especially Meyer and Turtle Rock for an item.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is conventional wisdom, and it's a good policy. Although, as time wears on, as you're starting to see 207, 210, 215, and still don't have go mode, you know, you might get it in your head to make a play, and end up in Meyer looking for cane.
Oh yeah, I forgot about his powder check for his $300.
Yeah, this is going to be full Smith sequence with Magic Bat. He's going to be able to flute over to turn in the purple chest. This is basically an optimal Smith sequence, which is really nice. Now, what he does after the Smith sequence is... that's going to be the big thing. No, because there's nothing... I mean... the only thing in the area is Meyer, but Meyer's still a flute away, even though geographically it's similar. Flute's such a modular movement item that, like, it's not actually in the same area.
He's gonna make a South Dark World check of Cave 45 while he's here.
Yeah, doing all this makes sense, actually. He isn't gonna actually flute, because he hasn't done the mirror spot down here, so... this is gonna be good, but it's not going to give him canes. So what does Solski do after this? Well, SuperNinTaylor is doing a full clear of Swamp, which makes a ton of sense, and he's going to go to Waterfall Chest, and he's going to get Bombos, and he's going to think, why the heck? Why me? Because he's found the 2 medallions that he doesn't need.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's that flute to 7, turn in the purple chest, and... decision juncture time for Solski. I want to see what he does here. I don't know what he's going to do.
I got a feeling he's going to save and quit. Nope. I was going to say save and quit, and then go to wreck ship. Where's he going?
Pyramid. No, Pyramid 5-6 is T-Rock.
Yeah.
So What does he have on the table right now?
The Meridia exit.
Yeah, backdoor Meridia is good. That's what this has to be a play for. That's a good eye on that one. And so we'll see how much of Meridia he does. Now, backdoor Meridia into front of Meridia versus wrecked ship stapled to upper wrecked ship is like, that's really, really iffy. They're both crappy things to do in Super Metroid. And Solski is getting bodied by this flying cupcake. These things are awful.
Oh yeah, I've died practicing when I was practicing so many times to those things.
Yeah, they're absolutely like the worst enemy in the game for me. I hate them more than I hate Dead Rocks.
I call them the cupcakes of doom.
Not incorrect, but yeah, I mean, whether you want to do the front of Meridia versus doing upper wrecked ship, or whether you take the backdoor portal out, that would be the optimal thing, honestly. If he's really committed to staying away from extraneous checks, is like peep Botwoon and then go back and leave and do the exit from this.
That's true.
And then reset to do wrecked ship. But I don't think that's a very likely play. I think that's kind of a swing for the fences play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're likely to see SuperNinTaylor grab his speed booster next. Yeah, and if you want to see what the so-called microwave strategy in Super Metroid is all about, Solski's going to charge his plasma shot, have menued to X-ray. Ideally, he'd be crouching here because Dragon will force a stand-up when she dies. But now he's just going to buffer a lot of pauses into his shot here and doesn't do it quite well enough. So he's going to have to go for another round. And there, Dre should be dead.
I gotta practice that strat.
It's very, very simple. You just need to hold the shot button to trigger the X-ray for long enough that the iframes run out on Dragon, and then just let it go and pop it right back down again. And so you can kill Dragon fairly easily. And so, again, where does Solski go? We know he needs to go to wrecked ship or to Moat, and he'll find his Cane of Samaria, and he'll feel really goofy for having not been there earlier. But I think he'll also feel okay because he'll know that he gets to go mode both Meyer and T-Rock, which could be a big advantage or could be a small advantage depending on the key layouts.
I got a feeling, and I hope I see it, if he finds Grapple Beam and he has to go to see his favorite buddy in the whole world. That would make my day if he actually finds the Grapple Beam and goes and sees his favorite person in the world.
Yeah, so we'll see if that comes to be. But what I think this is going to be a check through Sandpits and then up Red Tower over to wrecked ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my fingers crossed that he'll get over to wrecked ship soon.
Yeah, I really hope he does.
And similarly, for SuperNinTaylor, I'm hoping we'll see him head for Skullwood soon. He was just in the area and kind of noped out of it, and hasn't yet done Meridia, so, or wrecked ship for that matter. So there's a lot of stuff on SuperNinTaylor's plate. It's interesting that he decided to dirtle about with some overworld MITS checks, but those are fairly item-rich but slow Super Metroid map regions, so like it makes sense, and this might be that Skullwoods check.
I hope it is.
If this puts SuperNinTaylor in a really nice position. He's going to be able to skip this whole front of Meridia.
And it is the Skullwoods check.
And Solski resetting.
He took a save
Where
to
did?
save.
Okay, he saved above the sand pits.
Oh
So yeah,
no,
this
SuperNinTaylor, no, go back. Go back.
he says it's not a crystal. I'm not going there. Jebaited. Oh gosh. We thought he was doing it.
Mhm.
The vision was like in full effect, and then he dipped.
He's like, nope, I don't want any part of that. Ice beam. Oh, that is
That's a
good
key.
find. That is a good find for Solski. Why doesn't he just bomb jump up there? There he goes.
Well, that bottom one is a little tricky to get that bomb jump for.
That is a good find. Ice beam is gonna make his. Now, if SuperNinTaylor goes back to Skull Woods, which it looks like he is, maybe. If he does, if he does manage to, SuperNinTaylor will not find that ice beam at all, which is sad.
Yeah, Solski will have Ice Beam up on SuperNinTaylor at this point, and I don't believe either runner is confident with a speed Zeb skip, so that will be, some extra time in Torian in addition to PB Metroids. But Solski going for this out of logic gate glitch and deciding to save his one super so he'll be able to shoot the correct side of the gate. We know we want to see Solski go and just go right up Red Tower.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think has yet seen the beach items. So there's 3 items there, plus the 2 items in the Main Street area, plus Plasma, that are all in Logic right now. So that's 6 items in Meridia. But I mean, at the same time, Upper Wrecked Ship is also 6 items, so... SuperNinTaylor has got his Ether Medallion, and at 2 hours, 16 minutes, is in go mode. So we know Solski's got to get to Moat.
Yeah. Come on, Solski.
Finding Space Jump. I think we'll probably see him go grab that. And so SuperNinTaylor has to do Meyer and T-Rock, which Solski also has to do. And otherwise, he's behind by a Dragon. And so he's looking at maybe Backdoor Dre, but we'll see.
Oh, he's going to get his speed booster.
Oh, he remembered his speed booster. Cool. This is good.
Now he's in go mode.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, he's been in go mode. He's just grabbing speed because it's a convenience item. He needs neither speed nor ice because of this backdoor portal.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Having that space jump, though, really...
Yeah, space jump and ice is going to help Solski make up some of this time. But I'd say right now, if Solski finds his cane behind... I'd say behind 222 to 223, that SuperNinTaylor will be in the lead.
Mm-hmm. I concur with that statement.
Thankfully, Solski just has Beach here. Hopefully he'll skip Plasma, because Plasma's pretty slow. And then just go right up Red Tower. And he's not even grabbing heart containers. I think Solski's feeling this a little bit, because he's been go mode -1 for almost a half hour now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if SuperNinTaylor goes for the sort of the proper X-ray strat here. Or it looks like he might be set... Okay, he's gonna not speed booster kill. And Solski is setting up for his red tower exit here, so he's gonna be in go mode very soon. So I think he'll have about a minute to minute and a half lead, honestly.
Mm-hmm. He did pick up Spazer, by the way. I want to point that out. And he did do some angry slashes when he picked it up in a swamp.
Yeah. Although it'll never equip, so it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, I always pick up Spazer, even if I don't need it. I like that beat. I always have.
And we'll see if Solski goes down to check the Alpha Peebs location. I think he probably will.
He probably won't go all the way down Red Tower, because this is literally the last location. So you got it close. He will see that red cane by 221, 222. Somewhere around there.
So yeah, this is just as close of a race as we wanted. So this is going to be pretty hype.
Oh yeah.
Assuming that he goes up here. If he goes down to do X-ray and waterway and things like that,
nope.
Then we're in a world of hurt. But it looks like he's doing the right thing.
Oh yeah. And SuperNinTaylor noping out of Meridia, or trying to at least. He's getting kind of pushed around.
Yeah, these ohm skips can be a little tricky, especially if they aren't rolling your way. You kind of want to do something similar to a down back. But yeah, every little bit of time that SuperNinTaylor bleeds is going to, of course, be helpful for Solski at this point, because we are down to an execution race.
He is in
Solski hits
go mode at 221.
Yep, go mode 5.5 minutes to 6 minutes behind SuperNinTaylor, but with Dragon already done and in prime position to just continue that run right over on Indirect Ship. Space Jump and Ice are in places where SuperNinTaylor will not find them. And yeah, so since Solski did get that sub 220 or 223, and SuperNinTaylor had a little bit of trouble with that Dre exit, I'd say Solski probably has a 2 to 3 minute lead.
Oh yeah. Even hitting go mode late. He knows he's in go mode. He's just...
Yeah, now the interesting call will be, because Solski has full beam and high jump and speed and space jump and basically everything he could ever want but spring ball, if he goes from wrecked ship right over to G4.
G4.
Yeah, to finish Torian.
Oh.
And then takes the slightly faster escape.
He might.
I think that's the play to make, honestly. Sick fast eye close there from Fantoon. Scummy as ever.
Looks like SuperNinTaylor is in Mire, and I think he set up for the spooky action glitch.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he goes for it. If you pick up that rock from the bottom when you're fluting into Mire, the bird can set the variable, which is one of my favorite statements that we can unironically make about how weird A Link to the Past is as a game, is the bird sets the variable.
The bird is the word. Godmire.
The bird is controlling the index, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, spooky action's really weird, and SuperNinTaylor might be ready to show it off.
He did get a Godmire though, which is really amazing.
Yeah. Now, Solski will also have that. It was kind of funny that each of them was one item off of accessing Mire for so long, and it turned out to be each of their go mode items. And so we'll see if Solski decides to go to Torian. He would probably want to do an ammo refill at the ship. or if he goes right for the inter-game portal and decides to do that A Link to the Past stuff first. I like the play of doing Torian here because there's not a whole heck of a lot that you're going to...
He's also right here.
Yeah, exactly. And he did do some spooky action there. Having that index set wrong, using the fire rod to hit that switch.
And doing it for that one too.
Yep, nicely done. Really nice Meyer basement. I don't believe that Solski knows that Meyer basement, and so he will be able to save time on, or SuperNinTaylor will be saving time in Meyer basement by virtue of showing those strats off. Really cool strats there on Showcase by SuperNinTaylor. That's some of the coolest stuff that we found in 2018, honestly.
Looks like Solski's heading towards Torian. And
yeah, that's a good call.
Looks like SuperNinTaylor is seeing his way to victory on that one.
Yeah, you know, not a whole lot he's looking for here, but, you know, seeing what's there at Vitreous is always reasonable. And, you know, I mean, he had to kill Vitreous anyway. There's a crystal there, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So now he's going to flute to 1. SuperNinTaylor is going to almost assuredly clear A Link to the Past first.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just makes a lot more sense for his route, which will mean that he will still have to go and do Phantoon. So his wrecked ship plus Torian is going to be roughly the same amount of time, depending on key layout, as Solski's GT. Now, SuperNinTaylor knocking that Dead Rock into just such a spot that he can still sneak around it.
Now, this is going to be a quick Turtle Rock. It's been a while since I've seen a go mode Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I'm going to actually just hide the SRL channel. I don't want to spoil this one for myself. This is too good of a race. The runners are on a 15-minute delay.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of them, in terms of real time, will probably actually be finishing here in, like, the next 8 or so minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't want to know who it's going to be. We are not going to look. We're not going to spoil it for you. We're just going to be looking forward to seeing how it goes down.
I even minimized it.
Yeah, we'll see if Solski is comfy with his baby skip. He's got all the gear he could reason. Ooh, that second jump was a little dicey. Okay, we're back on track. No bonks. As long as he gets his last jump set up right. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, that was not it.
If he, I want to point this out. If he would have continued on and went through that door with the baby Metroid attached, his movement for until he gets to the save station and reset his thingy, he would have slow movement. Like, yeah.
Yeah, the game doesn't really know what to do, and so it gives you baby speed, which is pretty funny. Thankfully, you can fix that just by saving and resetting the console, because there's a save station coming up here on your way to Mother Brain, but definitely not something that either of these runners wants.
Going through these rooms at baby speed is not fun. I mean, Samus still has all her, space jump movement, high jump movement. She just moves really, really slow.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's basically dampened X-axis movement, whereas your Y-axis movement is the exact same as it would normally be.
Now, nice freezing of the Zebatet, or the Ringos, or whatever those are.
Yeah, we'll go with Ringos. They're a beetle today. All the beetles are not in A Link to the Past. There is a Ringo in Mother Brain's room. And Solski, with full beam, is only going to need 20 shots to kill Mother Brain too. And with all these E-tanks, with Space Jump and X-Ray, Like it's a pretty free stand-up glitch, honestly.
Would,
I'd be surprised if he didn't go for it because it's basically a free 20 seconds. But at the same time, race nerves are real.
oh yeah,
And
they are.
he's seeing that clock hitting like 230 and thinking, okay, I'm on like 250 range pace. I don't want to destroy myself here, but he is going to go for that stand-up. I like the call. And Vanilla, Big Key, and Turtle Rock is going to be something both runners are going to have to contend with. So we'll see if either runner chooses to skip the big chest in Turtle Rock and gamble on... Whoa. Got a little dicey there. See if either runner chooses to gamble the roller switch room, but I doubt it. I think we're going to see both of them go for the big chest. It's a pretty standard play. Nice door dash by SuperNinTaylor. Didn't know you could get that door rub there. Pretty cool. That's why he's a lot, or that's one of the ways in which he is a lot better than me at A Link to the Past. Just showing off some real subtle knowledge, nice room optimizations. And he would have been right. Gambling the roller switch chest is something that, I mean, it's a 50-50. I doubt we'll see Solski go for it, but it would pay off in this case.
The what?
So either the big chest or this chest in the roller switch room has to be the big key. Nice room strat by SuperNinTaylor again.
He already has the big key.
Well, he needs a small key.
Oh.
And so he got it there in the roller switch room. The big key was vanilla. And so in Big Key's vanilla, you can't steal the key from the Hokuboku. And so you have to find an extra small key somewhere, and it either has to be half of the time it's going to be in the big chest and half the time it's going, or to an approximation, half the time it's going to be in the big chest, half the time it's going to be in the roller switch room.
Oh, we get to see Laser Bridge at least. And Mother Brain is down on for Solski.
Yeah, we actually have to see Laser Bridge in this seed. And there's the key. Looks like SuperNinTaylor is checking more stuff, and he's going to have to be pretty careful. Okay, he's going to go that way.
He has blue goo. He has 2 things of blue goo. Remember that.
Yeah, so he's getting set up to powder the anti-fairy, but this is a clutch powder that he's going to need, and he gets it, so it's all okay now. He'll be able to save that blue goo. He doesn't have magic to use Cane, so he is going to have to do pot strats here.
Well, there's a full magic there's a full magic decanter up here.
Yep. And then Solski is getting a nice moonfall in the Leodox room. That door is not locked, and so he almost ended up going over to the old MB room. As SuperNinTaylor doing some backdoor Trinex strats. So if SuperNinTaylor finishes Ganon before Solski is into Ganon's tower, that's probably a reasonable way, depending on Ganon's tower key layout, to track the lead. SuperNinTaylor will be showing us that first. So with the boss dying, you're going to have a pretty short big key guessing game. If you like to guess numbers, there are 22 locations at which we can find the big key in Ganon's tower. We number them 1 through 22 in order that the leading runner to enter Ganon's tower checks those locations. If you are a supporter or subscriber for any speed gaming channel, you can join in our guessing game and see whether you guess correctly 1 to 22. Good luck.
Yep. What's your usual guess?
I like, well, actually I don't even like Vanilla A Link to the Past, but I like the vanilla guess, so I'll give it a 15 with sort of traditional strats, the front chest behind Ice Armos. Do you have a guess that you prefer?
I usually guess tile room 22. I like the tile because ever since I found out, I didn't even know there was a chest in that room. at all until I watched a randomizer.
All right, so the guesses are in, and we are starting the count at 1 as Solski goes through Misery Mire.
1.
And if there's a small key, there's no small key. So this could set up a big right side play, but it could also portend that number 15 will be that Ice Armist.
That is true. You might be right, sir. Hey, there's a 3.
Yep. Got him. So he's going to grab a small key here in the next room, and he's going to head right up the tower. He might go check for Ice Beam over in the Stalfos room, but no. 3 it is. I see a couple 3s in chat, but let's see. I'm not gonna try and pronounce that. Spishkiros or Kiros. Congratulations, your name
Miss
will be
Metroid
added.
Link Force. Miss Metroid Link Force 06 GTO Rocky 2418 and a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, Kiros is what he's saying or she's saying in chat. Don't know. Don't mean to misgender anyone there. But either way, congratulations. They're the first supporter to have guessed it.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. Oh, there it is. Oh, oops.
Yeah, the bot says it. But back to the race, because there's actually meaningful things going on. As SuperNinTaylor's doing Gauntlet, and Solski is headed into his Vidi fight. Got his cape menu too. We might see some dash strats. Yep. Oh no, he's going for a modified WQ where he's just using the cape to stay from taking any damage. Gonna save what? 10 frames per heart on that recharge.
Yep, Vitreous didn't see that strat coming.
And that last Landmola moving in a mysterious way for SuperNinTaylor, dodging that Fire Rod. So getting a 2-cycle out of it, but getting through cleanly. So for anyone like Ms. Metroid who's just joining this race, welcome Ms. Metroid, one of our organizers. She's been putting a ton of work and doing a great job with this tournament. As Solski does not do a great job with his Waffle House drive-thru. Gonna have to try that one again. We have Solski has already killed Mother Brain, and SuperNinTaylor is doing Ganon's Tower first, so it's going to be a little bit of a mismatch on the screens, but the race is very, very close.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Solski still has to go through Turtle Rock, and then... But SuperNinTaylor has not downed Vitreous.
No, Vitreous is very dead. SuperNinTaylor is very in Ganon's Tower.
I mean, Flying Ghost thing, One Eye, Phantoon.
That's a thing that SuperNinTaylor has not yet done.
I'll get this English thing down eventually, you know. It's just gonna take me a couple of tries.
It's all good, but right now, if SuperNinTaylor finishes his Ganon fight before Solski enters Ganon's Tower, I don't know, it's a quick big key. It's a very quick big key. It's on the torch. Mm-hmm. If he's more than 30 seconds ahead on the Ganon kill to Solski entering Ganon's Tower, so if like Solski's entering Trinex when SuperNinTaylor kills Ganon, I would say that's a dead even race. Which is what I've been kind of thinking, is we are really, really close. SuperNinTaylor has been showing off some killer endgame A Link to the Past execution and has been really cutting back on what looked like a minute to 3 minute lead by Solski.
Oh, Buttersword in the validation chest.
Yeah, that'll make for a quick Ganon fight as well, so that will further adjust just a little bit what I was... it is going to be a silverless Ganon for both runners. No runner has found silvers Solski did have Ice Beam and Space Jump for his Torian, whereas SuperNinTaylor is going to need to do Power Bomb Metroids.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So he is going to lose a few seconds there, but that's kind of all built into the estimate. That I think SuperNinTaylor's Wrecked Ship plus Torian is going to probably be like an 11-minute affair. And so I think Solski's still ahead, but it's very close. Any major mistake by either runner could result in, sort of the game going one way or the other.
That is the truth.
I've minimized chat. I know that one or both runner probably finished at this point, but I'm not looking. I want to see the end of this organically.
Oh yeah.
This is a really great race, befitting of 2-4-0 runners in this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Huh. A gastropod fact.
Yeah, so I think SuperNinTaylor just got his 1-1 on Ganon. Tempered Sword 1-1's a nice Ganon opener. And he is into Phase 3.
I don't know what I would do if I didn't find silver arrows, because I don't know how to do a silverless Ganon.
You've got to spin to win, but you really don't if you have more than Master Sword. But it's easier with spins.
Oh, where did it say they were? In Hera?
Sounds like it. That's pretty funny. So if Solski had made that pedestal play, he would have silvers.
Oh no, they were no, they were in his tower.
Oh, okay. So they're probably somewhere in the basement. So yeah, it was good that Solski stayed away from that that pedestal play.
Oh yeah.
It was looking like he was going to go for it for a while, and honestly, I think it was defensive. It just would not have been right. And Solski is doing that TR Big Chest hover. It's a good luck hover. I like the hover there. Didn't pay off, just some bomb capacity. But, I mean, that's what we were saying. Solski and SuperNinTaylor are both completely competent at hovering, as SuperNinTaylor finishes his silverless Ganon. Yep. Get those G's in chat for SuperNinTaylor. We forgot to get them for Solski, so let's get them for both runners. Just lots of single G's. And shoutouts to Sloters27. I guess my Sloters sub ran out. Sorry, dude. But SuperNinTaylor is going to be heading to the right to go kill Phantoon. Heading to the left first. Nice little short charge there. Not necessary. And Solski is going to get his small key in the second chest. And we'll probably see him head right for, yeah. He's not looking for anything, doesn't want Ice Beam.
He doesn't need Ice Beam.
Exactly. He has Ice Beam. We were just commenting on SuperNinTaylor's nice rightward spark there. Not even a goop spark. But making it cleanly across the ocean the second time. So... this is close. This is gonna... No. I don't... It's tough. It might come down to a baby skip.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
It might be that close of a race.
Well, I mean, you have to... I mean, SuperNinTaylor does not have Ice Beam, though. That's the big thing.
That's something we like to harp on, but realistically, it only makes a 20 to 30 second difference. And so if you add that in... like, he's not going to be able to Zeb skip unless he speed Zeb skips, but he has been doing some really nice short charges here. He might be warming up his stutter 3s for that speed Zeb skip. I've never seen him do it, but that doesn't mean he can't.
That's true. He does have enough missile ammo to blast through all those Zebatites.
Yeah, I'm I'm betting on Solski on this one, but this is a real close one. And SuperNinTaylor getting a nice microwave fan tune. You have to hit him with missiles first to knock his eye open, so he won't close it on that first plasma hit, which he does a very nice job of.
Now, do you think Solski will go right first or left first?
I think he's going to do the right two, and then he's going to be saved from it because there's no small key. I think we'll see him do exactly what SuperNinTaylor did. Nice stair climb there by Solski. And so yeah, he's going to do exactly the same play SuperNinTaylor made. Check these first two, except he's doing it in the opposite order, getting E-Tank and then 3 bombs. Mirror out, and he's going to get his small key, or his big key on the torch and his small key under the pot. And then he's going to be up, and SuperNinTaylor flying back across the ocean. Reverse ocean fly, much, much easier.
It's a really close race.
Yeah, this is a really tight race. It's been a great race. So
yeah.
If you haven't followed the runners yet, if you ignored me and my sales pitch at 90 minutes, here it is again. Go give these dudes a follow. They're both really great runners of this game. There's a reason they're 4-0. And you enjoy this game. There's a reason you're here watching. So it seems like a natural fit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've lost hours in, of my time watching Solski race this. Just for funsies when I'm, on my computer and watching SuperNinTaylor and all that. I do enjoy, the commentary these guys give while racing are great when they're just practicing.
Yeah, they're both really insightful, introspective runners. I mean, this randomizer is arguably even more cerebral than the A Link to the Past one. It's a very, very thoughtful game, as Solski does everything wrong in the Blue Stalfos room, or the Blue Zazak's room. That room sucks, by the way. Sometimes you just get bodied by RNG on it, and there's not a lot to be done about it.
And he's taking his blue goo.
Yeah, you buy him to use them, so...
Oh, no, he found him.
Okay.
there was no...
Even better. Even better. You got him. May as well use him.
Landmo 2 fight.
Yeah, and Solski, okay, also cleaning up with a 2-round on Landmo. Having a little more trouble than SuperNinTaylor on the fight, but ultimately the completion time basically equivalent between the two runners.
Oh, yeah.
No one gaining or losing any time. As SuperNinTaylor is about to head into his baby cutscene after Metroid's 4 here. This baby skip, it could be real big in the context of this race.
Oh, yeah.
I think Solski's probably a minute and a half ahead. But yeah, let's cheer on SuperNinTaylor.
It looks like he's probably not going to go for the... Yeah.
Yeah, he's just going to get chewed on here by the Metroid. This is a fine choice. If you aren't comfortable 100% with Baby Skip, it's better to not go for it at all.
That is true.
And by 100%, I mean probably more like 30%. Once you're a little better than 30% at Baby Skip, it's probably worth going for in runs, but until then, don't bother.
Now, how long does it take to get out from Mother Brain's area to get up to the exit? Do you know that? Like the general...
So from when the head drops, under normal cutscene length, Solski, going for it, getting that hover. Nice job. Saving a few seconds there.
Not getting his butter sword.
Yeah, he is going to miss out on that sword. But that's a ballsy hover there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it takes, by heuristic, about 1:20 seconds for a speed booster sort of optimal escape. And the butter sword doesn't actually make a difference on the Ganon fight. Assuming that you can 1-on-1. Assuming that you know almost getting the 2-cycle Agatu. So yeah, assuming you have your Tempered Sword 1-on-1 down, you're in good shape. And so yeah, Solski is in a commanding position in this race at this point. Although we're only minutes away, both runners on solid sub-3 pace.
Mm-hmm.
Like, both runners have to feel okay about the pace they're putting up in this race right now. And the nerves are probably pretty real. But we'll see if Solski can execute his Ganon fight.
Now, how long is the Ganon fight without silvers?
It's... what, about 90 seconds, I think? I used to know better when I was running NMG. And he is going to mess up the 1-on-1 here. So does have a 2-cycle first round. And I kind of want to see him go for cape strats here. Yeah, he's got half magic, like, this is going to save time. Alright, we're down to teleports. But yeah, if Solski manages a fall here, or if Ganon manages to knock Solski off, that's going to be the lead change here. So he does need to execute this Ganon fight very well, and so far he's been doing it.
And SuperNinTaylor going for a stand-up glitch.
Yeah, looks like he is going for that stand-up. He is going to need to take one hit from Mother Brain here. That's good. And he's making sure to get that torch glitch. Really rapid fire. And with Fire Rod, he's going to be able to go for 3 hits per round. Missing that first one, but he did have an even number already, so far so good. Not set up for that one, so he is going to miss that this triple. That's 5. 6 hits again, halfway done. Yeah. Unfortunately for SuperNinTaylor, the Ganon escape is a lot faster than the Torian and Zebus escape. And that's gonna set it for Solski if he can cross the bridge successfully.
Yep. Well, let's get that second G in chat for Solski at least, for downing the pig if he doesn't fall off. And Solski,
and there it is.
Solski finishing with an SRL time of 2 hours and 53 minutes and 0 seconds.
Yeah, GG to Solski. That is going to put him at 5-0 and guaranteed into brackets. And those might have been some pumps of seeing what was going on. But this was a great race by both of these guys. Hopefully Solski will choose to come chat with him.
I'm going to ask him real quick.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor is going to be finishing up. And he did a great job as well. So let's cheer him on through his Torian escape. See if SuperNinTaylor nope, no Moonfall today.
And here's Solski. Good game, Solski.
Yo, Solski, GG, dude.
Yo, thanks.
Man, did you feel like it was as close as it was?
I didn't feel like I played really good today, so I felt like it was gonna be close. I felt like it was either really, really tight or like you're minutes apart. Mainly,
Those are the options.
well, I mean, like it's not like a blowout, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
one,
yeah.
'cause you know how some
Okay.
seeds like you just God vision it, and it's just like, all right, I'm gonna win by 30 minutes. This wasn't the seed. I mean, if I ran into Red Cane earlier, maybe, but it was a really tough route to get that Red Cane so late.
SuperNinTaylor finishing the race, by the way, with an SRL time of 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 14 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah, GG to SuperNinTaylor, who is falling, but only to 4-1, so he will have a spot in, at absolute worst, a tiebreaker race, wherein 6 of the 7 participants make it through to brackets. So
Don't make it.
he's still a pretty heavy favorite to get into brackets, even if there is a tiebreaker race. He's such a good player.
Oh, congratulations on the bomb jump to get that gravity suit, by the way.
I was so tilted because I failed the scout 3 times, I think it was either twice or 3 times. I actually, like, I yelled. I was like, this, I can't say what it was on air, but I was pretty mad. And then I saw what it was. I was like, all right, I can't come back for it, so I have to get it now. So, I can't remember who I saw do that. I think it might have been Zost in Andy's Zost match where he did that bomb jump. I was like, oh, you can line up that way. So I tried it out live on stream and it worked out.
Which bomb jump?
The where you have to reposition yourself for gravity. So Jones, yeah.
Yeah. I've run that one in weeklies a couple times, but I don't think I've had it come up in any tournament races. And it looks like SuperNinTaylor has joined us as well. GG.
He has joined us. Yeah, thank you.
No, great race.
Yeah, GG Solski.
Yeah, both you guys rocking solid sub 3 times on this seed that was, it wasn't the worst seed, but it was not a free seed by any stretch of the imagination. Really nice time.
Now, I have to ask, why, Solski, 1, why did you put off checking the moat so late? And 2, SuperNinTaylor, why did you push off Swamp or Skull Woods so long? Just curious. When you first, because SuperNinTaylor, you first went into the Dark World first.
Yeah.
Through that exit or that entrance to the Dark World, and you just immediately. But Solski went up, and I was just curious why you put off Skull Woods so long.
I'd have to watch it back, honestly, but I feel like I had a bunch more open. I just didn't really want to dive Pendant Skull Woods yet. Or maybe something just, right, I just got the Titan Mitts, didn't I? Not too long before that.
You got them in Village.
You got
them before Thieves, so.
I mean, I guess I could have checked it. I don't know, I kind of hate committing to Pendant dungeons sometimes. Like, sometimes I check it, I don't know. It's situational, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
This time I decided to put it off, and it didn't really work out for me, unfortunately.
And what about the moat check for you, Solski? I'm just curious.
So I'll start with the skull check too, just on my side. Reason why I checked it so early was just is more or less a play. Skullwood's Pendant and Thieves Town Pendants were not appetizing, but Upper Norfair wasn't very appetizing either. Just scored wave. I knew that Croc was more or less in logic. Just had to find the lamp, and I knew he was more or less in logic because I knew where speed was. So I wasn't sure where Mirror was in the chain. So I kind of made the play there. I'm not really looking for lamp. I'm kind of looking for other outs and to kind of guide me, like a Titans or something like that. And then I got the Ether. I was like, I really hope one of these crystal dungeons are Ether, and sure enough, both of them were. So I wasn't sure how I felt about both of them being there. Just because then it would have opened up, like, I figured NinTaylor probably didn't do it early, so I was hoping that it would have opened up another dungeon option for him. but it turned out it was both. So I was like, you know what, I'll just take it. And as for the moat, again, it just wasn't really in logic until we found that mirror. And then once the mirror was found, I guess it was in logic because of speed, but I had, what was it, Meridia versus Rex ship. And as much as I didn't like to, I figured Meridia was probably the better play. Just pound for pound, because a go mode Rex ship is a little more, it's tough. It's tough.
Mhm.
But I just, honestly, it was just a choice between Rex ship and Meridia, and Rex ship into Meridia felt like the better route. So it just worked out that ice and space were there, and space was, I mean, I probably shouldn't have went for it, but I wasn't sure what X-ray was at the time too. So I was worried because I didn't have grapple yet or in logic options. So that space jump I knew put it in logic. So just really grabbed it just in case.
Yeah, I mean, I thought both your routes made a lot of sense, honestly.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the divergence was pretty apparent at the beginning. Like, you went south up through the race game and up to the village, and SuperNinTaylor went north into the village, and you went ahead and full cleared eastern, and why he did the south route and to get his morph ball early, like right after. So I mean, by the time you reached Ice Rod Solski, SuperNinTaylor was finishing up eastern. So it was like you guys were really close together, even though your outs were diverged as much as they were at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, honestly, I really feel like that ether saved my bacon, because I mean, it could have been somewhere free like Meridia or Rex ship, and that Red King position could have been very devastating for me. So it was lucky. I feel like I found it at just the right time for me to still feel kind of comfortable with the race. Like, I found it as like, okay, that's not the worst place it could have been, because I was still able to go mode either Rex ship or Meridia. If I had to full clear both, I felt like I was probably going to lose, just because finding the ether, as good as it felt way too early.
Well,
and just committing
Meridia was a better call. Meridia was a better call. You found space jump, you found ice beam. I mean, it was a really good call. And then,
I mean, it was good, but like the Gomo, Meridia, and Rex ship definitely would have been better though. Like if I went like say I reset right to Rex ship, I mean it's like I'm saving 10 minutes right on the Meridia play, so I can just backdoor Meridia and then go mode Fantoon and piece out of Rex ship. So it definitely could save me a better chunk of change. So
yeah, that's what SuperNinTaylor did. So I mean, that's where, I mean, he made up a lot of his time. As soon as he found his ether, he was go moding, and it was kind of funny because you guys were in no mode around the same time. It's like once you found, I forgot what it was, but you guys were no mode in exact same time for two completely different items, and it was just funny to watch.
Nice.
It really just gave me a sense of calm too, just because like finding ether in like a pendant skull, and then finding gravel where I did, finding mirror where I did, knowing I was only looking for Red King, I was like, that's actually really, really good and really fortunate again, because I didn't foresee many options where he would have had ether, and if he has ether, then he's like right on my tail or right with me. So again, like I really got bailed out by that ether location for sure.
I think I checked a lot of overworld locations or something. So I noticed it says I checked 15 more items, yet Solski cleared 2 pendant dungeons, which I barely went into.
Yeah,
I did almost I think I did almost everything.
You did all but Power Hera.
Yeah, resets and things like Solski's total time is showing up as 3 hours 6 minutes. Like, nice timer, guys.
Yeah, Meridia got multiplied. Anytime you reset it, like adds time. So Meridia definitely suffered. I dropped a lot of those items too.
I guess I wanted to ask you guys a question about really the first 3 minutes of the race. So both of you know the other's early game tendencies. So SuperNinTaylor, you know Solski tends to go down and check Blue Bryn.
Right.
And Solski, you tend to go down and check Blue Bryn, but you know that others know this. Yeah. So what were you thinking about whether to go down to Blue Bryn in this seed?
I mean, that's more, I kind of talked about it in my stream, but that's more for hard mode just because it was 2 items in logic. In normal, it's more of a play just because you only have vanilla Morphin logic and you have that ceiling E-tank in Bryn. You need a Campfly or high jump to get to it, so it's really tough to kind of gauge if you should do it early or not. And really, I honestly don't even really pre-plan it. I just kind of start up the seed like, all right, let's do this time. Whether or not it pays off, it's like 45 seconds off my top, whatever. But it's so super early that it's really inconsequential to me. Like I'm gonna either make up or lose more time throughout the seed anyways. So, so it's not really much of an answer, but kind of random, I guess.
Oh no, I mean I was just curious because I expect you to go down to retro, and this time you didn't, and I wasn't sure if that was because you thought SuperNinTaylor knew you would and you just didn't want to, and same thing to you, SuperNinTaylor. Were you mindful of the fact that you went right to A Link to the Past, which is what you pretty much always do, but that Solski might have had those blue Bryn checks early?
I actually thought about that like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before our race even started. I was like, oh yeah, doesn't Solski always go down to Bryn Star? But actually, when it came to race time, it totally slipped my mind. I was just in the zone thinking about my own game at that time. But even if I was mindful of it at the start of the race, I don't think I would have changed anything. I try to... I don't know. I feel like if I did follow suit, it would probably just give him a bit more of a lead. I think his Super Metroid execution is probably a bit better than mine. I think he's been practicing that more than me, so I don't think I would have gained any advantage from trying to copy him. So I just better off sticking with what I think is the efficient route.
Besides your guys' go mode item, what item were you excited to see at the location it was at? Not counting speed booster. I gotta exclude that one because that one was like a free give me.
Yeah. For me it was gravity, just because it was getting pretty late in the seed, and I just found Mirror, and you're gonna laugh, but I was like, I want to bail, like, because I felt behind, putting off Croc area again because like I had the early wave from the broken pod, and all I was looking for Lamp, and the second I found Lamp in Cathedral, I went right back to Croc area because I knew it was in logic now. So then, sure enough, if I'm Mirror, I'm like, I gotta bail. And it was like, but I want to check first. That's why I saved, just so I can save scum it, just in case. And then I did grapple. It wasn't anything. I'm just like, oh. Do the scout, and then like again, because it took me 3 times to get the scout right, and then I saw gravity there, and I felt really comfy. Like I felt really good because I kind of had in my head what Taylor might have done, because I figured he hit gravity first, but because I was thinking maybe he did all already or anything like that, but yeah, that was the hype one for me for sure.
What about you, SuperNinTaylor?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I feel like almost every item I got to it late, so I don't know if there's an item I actually felt good about, because I know I skipped the Croc area and I did Link to the Past Overworld, and then I went back all the way through Cathedral, is it called, just to get all the way back down to Croc. So I felt pretty good about my IBJ to get that. I thought I did a good job of that, but at the same time I like put that off for so long that I didn't feel that great about it. And I feel like I did that with almost all the items in the game. I just kept putting them off. I mean, I guess the cane I got there fairly early. I guess I was happy about seeing the boots. Yeah, other than that, I can't think of much.
That's fair.
Wait, Hookshot Cave.
Boots.
Yeah, Hookshot Cave was boots.
Oh, was that right? Okay, yeah.
Which was kind of nice because you knew that you needed to get to Mire Shed before you could get your boots.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it kind of has come out at this point. I don't know if you guys talked about it. I didn't read the SRL chat too closely. But basically, Solski was looking for Kane and you were looking for Ether. And so each of you was missing some critical piece of the Misery Mire puzzle.
Yeah.
And so Mire and Turtle Rock were basically closed to both of you forever. But the other item I wanted to ask about was the Book of Medora on the Lumberjack Ledge.
The stupidest thing you could get at Lumberjacks, by the way. The absolute worst. It's worse than any other fetch. Because at the time I didn't have Mirror, so it opens up Desert for me. And it also opened up Ether and Babos. I'm just like, really?
Yeah, that was a little bit annoying. It's like, when, if ever, do I make this play? Do I clear all of both entire games before I do Aghanim, or do I make the play? I don't know. It's obviously I didn't make the play, but
When did you run into it? Like, when did you get it out?
oh, right at the beginning. Like I went straight to Link to the Past, jumped in the water, and then I saved and quit to Sanctuary, and I checked it immediately.
Yeah, I was worried because I checked it right after I got boots. I don't know, maybe an hour and 40, something like that. I did King Steam Bonk Rocks into that, and I saw that book. I got so irritated. I was like, really? Because it actually was viable to me. Like I had Thieves, and Skulldun. I was thinking about my skip to Hero, which, by the way, was because of Ice Palace. That death there. And
that's why
I was thinking about it. I was like, I gotta make a play because I felt a little behind. Because again, I don't know where Mirror and Gravity are, and I'm running out of ideas to find these items. And I'm just like, maybe that's the answer. And then, sure enough, I just like, nah, it's stupid. So I just kind of went away for it. Yeah.
It kept running through my mind. I was like, what if Mirror is in desert? I was like, oh man.
Yeah. That crossed my mind too. I was like, that would suck so bad, but luckily it wasn't the case.
Yeah, we were like right when me and Maniacal were talking about theoretical locations for the mirror. You happened to do the moonwalk with Crocomire, and Lord behold, it was right there.
Yeah, I think my biggest time loss is probably I was talking to Solski about it in chat, but the lower Norfair is just, I had to farm so many times. So many as in like probably 2 times.
That's another thing too.
That was a big loss for you because Solski had Screw Attack when he was down there.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Solski took a pretty rough falling down death at Double Freezors on his way to Big Chest and Ice Palace.
Right.
And so, like, there were some rough moments for each of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That was
so... Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that was kind of my play. I don't mind full clearing lower Norfair just because pretty much everything's along the way anyway. Except I guess Mickey Mouse might be a little bit out of the way. But I was like, this is gonna be tough, but I feel like I'd rather full clear this than pretty much any other dungeon in the game. So that's why I went for it that early. But I don't know. I guess I was a bit weak and not experienced enough to do it without gravity and screw and all that.
Well, having the Screw Attack really saved Solski. I mean, he blazed through the lower Norfair, but you blazed through, like, you got that gravity suit with 1 bomb jump instead of the 3 it took him. You did not die in Ice Palace, but because of how Solski routed, he had more items.
Yeah.
He had a rougher time in Ice Palace. You had the hook shot. He didn't. You didn't die going down a pit. I mean, like, it was rough for both of you, like Maniacal said, but because of how you guys routed, it kind of balanced it out, and that's, I believe, why you guys were so darn close this whole race.
Oh yeah, where was Hookshot again?
The Mire Shed.
Mire
Shed.
Shed.
Right.
It was a toss-up between that and Ice. I was like, press the crystal. Because I'm feeling a little behind on my crystal boss count. Because I'm thinking you've already done lower Norfair at that point, so I'm like, okay, I got to do crystal. Can I keep up with that timing? And then I literally got boots, half magic, 2 bottles, and hook shot, and I was so mad because I was like, the reason why I didn't snipe that Freezor in the first place was A, I thought he wasn't gonna clip through the pit like he did. And then B, I was worried about my magic, but that was so dumb because I knew I was going to run into more magic. I was at full magic. So even if I expended the magic to like burn that Freezor, I would have been fine because I would have ran into more. But like I thought about that right after I died, and I was pretty frustrated. Like it was such a bad mistake that I like never make, and I was like, oh my god, could I just do this?
I think it was convenient that you both got in this seed that you didn't have to buy a blue potion. They just gave you 2 blue boodles.
That was nice.
The worst time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. It honestly though, the seed was, for me at least, it was really fun. I don't know about you, SuperNinTaylor, but
yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was pretty. I don't want to say unique, but it was adventurous. It was kind of something I haven't really seen before in SM combo, where it was like the play worked out at the pendants, and then it was like I'm chasing so many items at the end that just kind of fall into my lap. So it was kind of nice on that end, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like I probably made the chat Monka-esque quite a few times too.
A little bit.
Yeah, remember I had my blue potion, but I didn't care. I was down to like half a heart after Laser Bridge. I was like, the chat's probably like,
Yep.
Monka-esque.
Yeah, I said something about it.
I was watching that powder on that anti-fairy.
I know, I was like, this powder's gonna be risky. I should definitely have enough with a sliver there and the half magic. So it's like, if I don't have enough, this is gonna suck.
Now, that's another thing too. Solski, you just immediately turned in your mushroom. SuperNinTaylor fake powdered and got his $300.
That's another thing I've never seen. I've never seen a sword on the ledge and then Zora popped a sword. I've never seen that. That was so cool.
Yeah,
that was my LOL. That was my LOL
nice.
in IRC, by the way.
Yeah. Change from master to tempered, and it's the same screen.
I saw the master sword. I was like, what?
I was actually wondering what that LOL was about. When I got to Zora, I was like, could it have been this? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. It could have been a lot of things, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
I don't know, it could have been that. It could have been the. Yeah. I don't know if it was that or the book, or I feel like it might have been some, or the, what was it? Something at Bomb Chorizo, I can't remember.
Bomb Chorizo was Hammer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That was.
Yeah. This was a really great race.
Oh yeah, it was.
So, I hope you guys enjoy watching this one back. I think it'll be fun. But Solski, I guess this puts you to 5-0 in the Swiss and guaranteed into the top 8 bracket. So congrats.
Oh baby, thanks.
Yeah. So how do you feel about trying to commentate that tiebreaker race for the 4-1s?
Put it sometime I can commentate it, please.
I would be down if we could
Yeah.
do that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I mean, you have to appeal to the masses too, but
Oh, yeah, of
I want
course.
a piece of that action for sure.
Yeah, if like someone else wants it, then that's cool too. I'd be in though. But SuperNinTaylor, you're at 4-1 and still in really good shape to make brackets, either having to not last in the tiebreaker race,
Yeah.
or just in, depending on how the rest of round 5 breaks. So it'll be good to hopefully see both you guys continue playing in this tournament.
Yeah, I feel like something would have to go really wrong for me to not make it. Like, someone's gonna probably have a really terrible time with the seed, like skip an item completely or something. So I'm just hoping that's not me. So as long as nothing like terrible happens, I should be okay. But you never know.
Yeah, I mean, 4-1 is a bit of a bloodbath, but thankfully you aren't going to need to play in the 4-1 bracket other than the don't be in last situation. And a lot of the X1s have already eaten each other and turned, good X1s into X2s.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of folks that you won't have to face.
Yeah, it's definitely not as scary as it could have been for sure. But I mean, that's the nature of Swiss. Is you're gonna even if it was seeded or non-seeded, you still probably would have ran into those kind of matchups where it was just it kind of just did its thing and divested it, and you're gonna lose some good runners through it. So
I just thought about something.
Too, so
how on earth are they gonna schedule that?
Good luck.
I imagine it's like a weekend at like 4 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, when Fiesel said that that's what he wanted to do for the tiebreaker, because I was asking, like, how are we going to do tiebreakers? He said, a race for all the people who are tied. And I was like, what does it mean to be tied? And he said, same number of wins and losses. And I said, good luck scheduling. So we'll see how it shakes out. Hopefully there's a time that, magically all 7 folks are going to be good to go. And, hopefully it happens.
They've done it for like Link to the Past tournaments where there's like 32 entrants. So I mean, 8 people, it shouldn't be that bad, but it also depends on like the 8 people's schedules, right? So
yeah, I mean, it's also 8 people with a 4-hour time block for this one.
Yeah,
it is a big ask.
That is true.
But either way, I mean, if it comes to be that, like, I'm really hyped to watch that one. It'll be exciting for sure.
They could use the weekly time slot. Just bump that off for just one night. like a Sunday or a Monday night, like usually when the weekly, that would work too.
Yeah, although, I mean, like for a while, I couldn't do Monday night weeklies and Solski couldn't do Sunday afternoon ones. So, like, if it was the two of us at X1, then that would, and that's what it comes down to. Is it like you have 7 individuals' schedules that you're gonna have to dig around with? But I'm really crossing my fingers that it happens because it'll be super hype if it does.
Oh yeah, I'd commentate that. That would be fun to commentate. Even if it's like the 4-person setup, that would be fun to see.
But yeah, so Solski, SuperNinTaylor, you guys have any final thoughts before we try and wrap things up around here?
Not really, except just GG Solski, and thanks to everyone commentating and tracking. That's about it for me.
Yeah, just for me, great race, and Taylor. Probably the closest I've had this tournament so far. Big challenge, and yeah, I'm gonna definitely enjoy running this one back and just watching it. It's gonna be a good watch, I think. So.
Oh yeah, it will be.
Yeah, it was a very good race. You guys made it super exciting and easy to commentate. And so thank you for that. Thank you for coming in to chat post race. Congrats, Solski, on moving on to 5-0, locking up that bracket spot, and good luck to SuperNinTaylor if it comes to the 4-1 tiebreaker race. I've got faith that you'll make it through, but it'll be fun to watch.
Same.
Oh yeah.
But thank you also to HK112 for the co-commentary, and Mind of Me for doing an excellent job on tracking. I'll let you wrap it up for us, HK.
Yep. Please follow and subscribe all the runners, the commentators, and the trackers, and all that. And there's gonna be more of this tournament going on throughout the few next couple of weeks, and a really big race coming up, probably. So there's that. I'm not good at wrapping up. Maniacal.
All right. Well, thanks. It's all good. Yeah. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed the race as much as we did, and we will see y'all next time.